Chapter 98. With Ji Yanran's introduction, Jun Xiaoyao had a better understanding of the Imperial City. Oh yes, is there a place in the Imperial City where I can get dawn stones? Jun Xiaoyao asked. Dawn stones. Ji Yanran glanced at Jun Xiaoyao. Obviously, she meant, would a person who could easily take out a supreme-grade celestial source lack dawn stones? I'm talking about celestial sources, Jun Xiaoyao said. Celestial sources? Ji Yanran was slightly surprised. For someone of her level, a supreme-grade celestial source was an opportunity that could only be found by chance. As for celestial sources, she did not even think about it. Oh yes, I remember now. In a few days, in the immortal Jade Tower, the genius of the immortal dance Zither sect, the heavenly Zither lady, will be holding a Zither competition. If someone can beat the heavenly Zither lady in the Tao of the Zither, they will be rewarded with 300 celestial sources, Ji Yanran suddenly said. Jun Xiaoyao was rather surprised to hear that. He knew about the immortal dance Zither sect. It was a famous top orthodoxy that entered the Tao through the Zither. In the past, the sect master of the immortal dance Zither sect had once defeated 4 Saint King experts with her Zither music, making the sect famous. As for the heavenly Zither lady, she was also a famous beauty and a top genius of the immortal dance Zither sect. Although the immortal dance Zither sect is a top orthodoxy, can they take out 300 celestial sources? Jun Xiaoyao was doubtful. Young master, those celestial sources were gathered by the followers of the heavenly Zither lady, such as the young master of the Million Treasure Chamber of Commerce, the third prince of the Panwujin dynasty, and so on. Wait, you said that the third prince of the Panwujin dynasty is a follower of the heavenly Zither lady? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered. That's right, but the heavenly Zither lady is a cold beauty with a proud personality. Even the third prince pursued her bitterly, Ji Yanran said. This was not a big secret, and many people knew about it. Jun Xiaoyao thought about it, and a plan gradually appeared in his mind. My Zither skills are mediocre, but it should be easy for me to deal with the Zither competition. If everything goes according to my plan, then Panwulin is in the bag. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a smirk, as if he had everything planned out. Scheming against an undying power wasn't a simple matter. But for Jun Xiaoyao, it was not so difficult that it was impossible. If Wu Mingwei is the first chess piece, then this Wu Jin dynasty's third prince will be the second chess piece. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. As time passed, the entire capital of the Jin dynasty was becoming more and more lively. Every day, many young prodigies from top orthodoxies could be seen arriving. Before Wu Mingwei chose her husband and the champion marquis challenged her, there was another matter that caused a small commotion. That was the genius of the immortal dance Zither sect, the heavenly Zither maiden. She was going to host a Zither competition in the immortal Jade Pavilion. The celestial harp lady was also a renowned beauty in the Huangtian mystic realm, but she was an icy beauty and had no interest in any of the young prodigy's pursuits. Only the Tao of Zither could pique her interest, but the Tao of Zither was very rare. In the entire Huangtian mystic realm, how many young prodigies were proficient in the Tao of Zither? Because of that, there was not a single man who could catch the heavenly Qin maiden's eye. Because of this, someone even made up a joke. If a man could conquer the celestial harp lady, then that man must be the god of the Tao of Zither. Of course, even if the heavenly Qin maiden's personality was like this, there were still many people pursuing her. The 300 celestial sources for the Zither competition were sponsored by the celestial harp lady's bootlickers. The immortal Jade Pavilion was one of the most luxurious pavilions in the Jin dynasty's imperial capital. The entrance fee to the immortal Jade Pavilion alone was 10 low-grade celestial sources. It could be said that this was the most luxurious place. Only the disciples of top orthodoxies, the nobles of the Jin dynasty, and the geniuses of the undying powers could enter. But today, on the top floor of the immortal Jade Pavilion, there was a rain of flowers and sunlight. Many young prodigies were gathered in one place. It could be said that other than the eldest princess's groom selection banquet, this Zither competition was the grandest. Among the geniuses scattered around, there were many powerful auras. They were the top prodigies of various forces. In one of the VIP seats, a young man in a luxurious golden robe sat. He was handsome and had a calm temperament. He had the aura of a superior. He was the third prince of the Jin dynasty. At this moment, his eyes were filled with infatuation and longing as he looked at the high platform. On the high platform, there were clouds of smoke. A woman in a bright red floral dress sat on the high platform. She had a cold and graceful appearance. Her skin was extremely white, and she was extremely beautiful. Her fingers were as thin as a scallion, and her mouth was as thin as a cinnabar. A zither was placed in front of her. She gently stroked the strings. From afar, it was like a beautiful scene in a painting. This woman was the heavenly harp lady of the immortal dance zither sect. She was a pure and clean woman who had entered the Tao through the zither. At this moment, her snow-white and slender hands were gently plucking the strings of the zither. The sound of the zither was like flowing water. It attracted spiritual birds to fly over and circle the immortal jade pavilion. This song should only exist in the heavens. It's rare to hear it in the mortal world. The third prince was intoxicated and could not stop praising. The heavenly harp lady was attractive not only because of her appearance, but also because of the aura she exuded. Listening to the fairy's song can wash away all the dust in the mortal world. On the other side, a handsome young man with the aura of a nobleman also sighed. He was the young master of the Million Treasures Chamber of Commerce. The Million Treasures Chamber of Commerce was a rather famous chamber of commerce in the Huangtian mystic realm. It was very powerful and had dealings with many imperishable orthodoxies. And the 300 celestial sources for this zither competition were mostly provided by the young master of the Million Treasures Chamber of Commerce. Of course, although it was painful for them to provide the celestial sources, it was also to make the beauty smile. However, it was difficult to make the heavenly harp lady smile. It was even more difficult to make her see them in a different light. At this moment, there was a golden phoenix in the sky. It was pulling a carriage towards the immortal jade pavilion. When they saw the phoenix, many geniuses on the top floor of the immortal jade pavilion were surprised. That's the phoenix of the Thousand Phoenix Spirit Mountain. Could it be that a successor of the Thousand Phoenix Spirit Mountain has appeared? Just as everyone was extremely surprised and confused, the phoenix stopped in the void. A graceful figure shrouded in crimson clouds walked out of the carriage. There was a pair of phoenix wings behind her back. Her beautiful face was shrouded in clouds, making it difficult for people to see her clearly. It was Feng Qingling. After she and Huang Xuani came to the imperial capital of the Jin dynasty, she heard about the zither competition. Feng Qingling was also good at playing the zither. She had a competitive spirit and came to the competition alone. The heavenly harp lady glanced at Feng Qingling and did not say anything. In terms of strength, she might not be able to compete with this successor of the Archean royalty. However, in terms of zither skills, she was confident that she would not lose to any of the geniuses of the imperishable orthodoxies. As time passed, all the geniuses had arrived. The zither competition was about to begin, and it was also at this moment that a white-robed figure stepped into the immortal Jade Tower, the full edition. Chapter 99. Sir, are we really going to come in? Jian Ran, who was following beside Jun Xiaoyao, scanned the luxurious immortal Jade Tower with an uneasy look on her face. She had never entered such a high-class place before. If we don't come in, how can we participate in the zither competition? Jun Xiaoyao smiled. He casually took out a peerless godly source and threw it to the servant of the immortal Jade Tower. The servant was stunned and did not dare to stop Jun Xiaoyao from entering. Ji Yinren nodded slightly. She also thought of Jun Xiaoyao as a suitor who admired the heavenly zither maiden. As for the zither competition, Ji Yinren did not even think about it. Soon, Jun Xiaoyao and Ji Yinren reached the top floor of the immortal Jade Tower. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao appeared, the eyes of everyone present were drawn to him. That aura was too special. It was hard not to notice it. Who is that? How can he have such a shocking aura? Why do I feel like an immortal has descended to the mortal world? Many of the elites of the major forces were surprised. The third prince and the young master of the Million Treasures Chamber of Commerce were also surprised, especially the third prince. While he was surprised, there was also a hint of wariness in his eyes. In his opinion, most of the men who came to the zither competition were here to admire the heavenly zither maiden's beauty. The third prince had long regarded the heavenly zither maiden as his exclusive property. The mysterious young master in front of him, who was shrouded in immortal light, gave the third prince a faint sense of threat. This was because in front of this white-clothed young master, even he, a prince, felt a vague sense of inferiority. It was like a lowly mortal facing an immortal. This feeling made the third prince extremely unhappy. What made him even more unhappy was that the heavenly zither maiden's gaze was also attracted by this white-clothed sir. What a shocking aura! Even with the heavenly zither maiden's cold personality, she was also surprised. In front of this white-clothed young master, she vaguely felt ashamed of her inferiority. Jun Xiaoyao did not care about everyone's gazes. He casually found a seat and sat down. Qin Xian, on the other hand, felt a little nervous being stared at by so many people. On the other side, Feng Qingling also noticed Jun Xiaoyao. Red clouds gathered in her eyes as she tried to see through the mist of immortal radiance on Jun Xiaoyao's face. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows and released his soul power from his true spirit in his sea god palace. In an instant, Feng Qingling frowned and felt a stabbing pain in her head. This person has some skills. Feng Qingling frowned and gave up on prying. After all, the main reason she had come this time was to meet the heavenly zither maiden, who was known as the #1 zither player. Jun Xiaoyao retracted his gaze and muttered, "The people of the 10,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain. It seems that this branch has also begun to move. Previously, it was Zulong who was causing trouble. Now, the successor of the Wanwang Spirit Mountain had also appeared. It just so happened that these two factions had a good relationship with each other, and they were both against the Jun family. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao naturally did not have a good impression of Feng Qingling. Everyone, it's about time. Then, let the zither competition begin." On the side of the high platform, an old woman of the immortal dance zither sect said. She was also the protector of the heavenly zither maiden. "Haha, if that's the case, then this one will first embarrass himself. I hope the heavenly zither maiden will not be stingy with your guidance." A young man walked out with a smile and took out his zither. "Please." The heavenly zither maiden only spat out one word with a cold voice. The young man played the zither, and the sound of the zither was like flowing water. The heavenly zither maiden's cold and elegant eyes remained indifferent. After listening to the young man's song, the heavenly zither maiden used her slender fingers to strum the zither strings. In an instant, the sound of the zither was like the sound of nature. There was a holy light lingering around, and smoke clouds rose. There was a faint divine brilliance in the void, which set off the heavenly zither maiden, making her look like a zither fairy. Almost everyone present was intoxicated by the music. The third prince, the young master of the Million Treasures Chamber of Commerce, and the others were even more in awe. When the heavenly zither maiden finished her song, the sound lingered in the air and lingered in the ears. This is an immortal song. Wonderful, wonderful. After listening to the heavenly zither maiden's zither music, I feel like I'm about to ascend to a higher level. Many elites exclaimed, "It's really beautiful." Ji Yanran was also fascinated by the music. Even someone like her, who did not understand the Tao of the zither, was a little intoxicated. "It's all right," Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. He did not specialize in the Tao of the zither, nor did he practice the zither much. However, with Jun Xiaoyao's monstrous talent and some famous zither songs from his previous life, he was able to master the zither. With the combination of the two, Jun Xiaoyao's zither skills had unknowingly reached the peak. As for the heavenly zither maiden's music, to him, it could only be considered decent. It was within the category of being able to be appreciated. The young man who challenged the heavenly zither maiden clasped his hands together and said, "As expected of the zither maiden of the younger generation in the mystic region, I concede defeat. Thank you for letting me win." The heavenly Zither maiden's face was indifferent. She did not show any joy from her victory. Next, several geniuses went up to challenge her one after another. They were all defeated. Seeing this, the third prince, the young master of the Million Treasures Chamber of Commerce, and the others all smiled. No one could beat the heavenly Zither maiden in the art of the Zither. Therefore, no one could attract her interest. At this moment, a slightly arrogant female voice rang out. Let Qingling meet you, the number one in the Tao of the Zither among the younger generation in the mystic region. Feng Qingling stood up. She wore a fiery red dress that outlined her tall and slender figure. Although her face was shrouded in a divine glow, a glimpse of her beauty was still breathtaking. She took out a fiery red zither. The zither strings seemed to be surrounded by flames. It was an extremely powerful, noble weapon. I dare not claim to be the number one in the Tao of the Zither. Since Miss Feng wants to challenge me, then please. The heavenly Zither maiden's tone was indifferent, but there was also a hint of hostility. The two faced each other and began to play the zither at the same time. Listen to my song, Phoenix Seeking Phoenix. Feng Qingling's jade-like hands stroked the zither strings. Countless crimson runes were imprinted in the air. Then, the cries of phoenixes sounded. A phoenix and a phoenix, two lifelike divine birds, circled around Feng Qingling. Many people were shocked by this strange phenomenon. The heavenly Zither maiden also began to play the song that made her famous, Rainbow Feather Dress. In an instant, everyone seemed to see a celestial palace descending. Fairies danced, flowers fell from the sky, and golden lotuses bloomed on the ground. Everyone seemed to be intoxicated by the song. They did not know what year it was. The two songs intertwined and collided. Finally, there was a crack. One of Feng Qingling's zither strings broke. Her face was faintly green. Her expression changed. Finally, she stopped playing the zither. You are indeed the number one in the Tao of the Zither among the younger generation in the mystic region. If even I can't beat you, then no one can. Feng Qingling shook her head slightly. She came from the Wanwang Spirit Mountain. She had pride and nobility in her bones. But now, she had to admit that she had lost. Of course, this was only because she had lost in the Tao of the Zither. In terms of actual strength, the heavenly Zither maiden was definitely inferior to her. Moreover, Feng Qingling was also very proud. She thought that she could not beat the heavenly Zither maiden. In the entire Huangtian mystic realm, no one in the younger generation could beat the heavenly Zither maiden in the Tao of the Zither. The entire book. Chapter 100. Even Feng Qingling of the Wanwang Spirit Mountain was no match for the celestial harp maiden in terms of Guqin. The admiration in the hearts of the third prince and the others grew even stronger. Celestial harp maiden, you've received the teachings of the immortal Dance Guqin clan's clan master. I'm afraid no one can beat you in terms of Guqin, the young master of the Million Treasures Chamber of Commerce said flatteringly. Not really. My master said that there is one person who is far inferior to her in terms of Guqin, the celestial harp maiden suddenly said. Oh, who is it? The third prince asked. Everyone present was also very curious. In terms of strength, the clan master of the immortal Dance Guqin clan might not be the top in the Huangtian mystic realm. But in terms of Guqin, the clan master was number one. The celestial harp maiden shook her head slightly and said, My master didn't say much. She only said that person seems to be related to the Jun family. Hearing this, many people around were very surprised. The Jun family of the ancients? The third prince's eyes flashed. If there was a name that was mentioned the most in the imperial capital recently, it would be Jun Xiaoyao. The Jun family. Feng Qingling's eyes were cold. She didn't have a good impression of the Jun family. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was rather surprised. It can't be that coincidental, right? Jun Xiaoyao thought of his mysterious protector who had never shown himself. That protector's Guqin skills were so strong that he could easily kill a saint. Jun Xiaoyao guessed that the person mentioned by the celestial harp maiden, who even the clan master of the immortal Dance Guqin clan praised, was most likely his protector. At this time, the old woman who was the celestial harp maiden's protector said, Who else wants to challenge the young mistress? The entire top floor of the immortal Jade Tower was silent. Even Feng Qingling of the Wanwang Spirit Mountain was defeated. Who else dared to challenge her? Sir, it seems that the Guqin competition is about to end, Ji Yanran said. However, Jun Xiaoyao stood up. Sir, Ji Yanran looked confused. I would like to challenge the Celestial Heart Maiden. May I? Jun Xiaoyao said plainly. Everyone's eyes fell on Jun Xiaoyao. A sliver of surprise flashed across the Heavenly Heart Maiden's beautiful eyes. She had also been secretly paying attention to Jun Xiaoyao. After all, his temperament was too otherworldly. Of course, I didn't expect you to know how to play the Guqin as well. The Heavenly Qin Maiden took the initiative to speak. I guess so. I've been playing for a few months now, Jun Xiaoyao said. It had indeed only been a few months since he had signed in and obtained Phoenix Cry Chi Mountain. However, the moment these words were spoken, the entire Immortal Jade Tower fell silent. Many people were even more astonished. Is this person making fun of the Heavenly Qin Maiden? You've only been learning the Guqin for a few months, and you want to challenge the Heavenly Heart Maiden, the #1 Guqin cultivator in the Huangtian mystic realm. Everyone thought that this mysterious young master was here to make fun of them. Even the Heavenly Zither Maiden, who had a cold temperament, couldn't help but be stunned. If it had been anyone else, the Celestial Qin Maiden would not have bothered to compete with them. However, Jun Xiaoyao's temperament was too special. He was like a banished immortal, making it impossible for others to refuse. They wanted to find out more about him. All right, then please, young master, the Heavenly Zither Maiden said with a deep look in her eyes. Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged on the high platform. Feng Qingling's eyes revealed a hint of cold mockery. Even she couldn't compare to the Heavenly Zither Maiden. How could a person who had only learned the Zither for a few months possibly win? However, in the next moment, Feng Qingling's eyes suddenly froze. Her pupils suddenly shrank, and her breathing seemed to have stopped. That was because Jun Xiaoyao had taken out Guqin. It was red and gilded, exquisite and gorgeous, with a mysterious and powerful fluctuation of power. It was the Zither Phoenix Cry Chi Mountain. Am I seeing things? Is that an ancient sacred weapon? It really is an ancient sacred weapon. Where did that young master come from? He can actually take out an ancient sacred weapon so casually. If it was just a moment ago, everyone was rather disapproving of Jun Xiaoyao. But now they were completely shocked. After all, not everyone could take out an ancient sacred weapon. That young master is definitely the successor of some immortal orthodoxy. Someone thought to himself. The third prince also had a look of surprise on his face. There were many discussions in the immortal Jade Tower. Feng Qingling looked at Phoenix Cry Chi Mountain with an unprecedented passion in her beautiful eyes. That zither was too suitable for her. If she had gotten that zither earlier, she might not have lost to the Heavenly Zither Maiden. Feng Qingling's eyes were surging with greed. As members of the Archean royalty, being domineering was a character that had fused into their bones and blood. On the other side, the Heavenly Zither Maiden was also shocked. She was even more certain that the immortal-like young master in front of her had a very powerful background. Next, the Heavenly Zither Maiden calmed herself down and began to play the zither. It was still her trump card, the Song of Rainbow Feathers. Jun Xiaoyao's slender fingers plucked the strings of the zither. One of the top 10 songs, Guangling San. As soon as the song was played, auspicious signs appeared in the sky, and the flowers of the Tao bloomed. In the void, a rain of light sprinkled down. This was the manifestation of the Tao. Everyone present seemed to have experienced a sublimation. Meanwhile, Jun Xiaoyao's entire body was enveloped in immortal light. His aura was too sacred and overflowing with immortal qi. At this moment, everyone was in a daze. Jun Xiaoyao's song had already integrated the Tao into the sound of the zither. This was a kind of comprehension and evolution. It had even surpassed the zither song itself. Feng Qingling took a deep breath. Her red eyes were also filled with shock. She had just said that if she could not defeat the Heavenly Zither Maiden, no one in the entire immortal region could. But now, after hearing this song, Feng Qingling was in a daze. This song was far inferior to the heavenly zither maiden song of rainbow feathers. The heavenly zither maiden stopped playing the zither. Her beautiful eyes were dazed. She could no longer play the zither, because what she played was only the shape. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, played like a god. If there was a god in the Tao of the zither, then it should look like Jun Xiaoyao. I lost, the heavenly zither maiden murmured. She had never felt this way before. After the song ended, Jun Xiaoyao felt refreshed. He glanced around. Everyone was still in a daze. After a long while, these prodigies finally came back to their senses. Their eyes were filled with shock. The heavenly zither maiden humbly admits defeat. The heavenly zither maiden actually stood up and bowed to Jun Xiaoyao. Miss, the old woman from the immortal dance zither sect, was also shocked. Their miss had always been as cold as ice and had a noble temperament. Not to mention bowing to other men, she rarely even looked at them. The third prince's face turned green when he saw this scene. The young master of the Million Treasures Chamber of Commerce also had an ugly expression. However, he had seen many people and had experience. He knew that people like Jun Xiaoyao were definitely not to be trifled with. If he was not careful, it would bring about a disaster. Since young master has won, then these 300 immortal sources belong to young master. The heavenly zither maiden was very generous. Without any hesitation, she directly handed the 300 immortal sources to Jun Xiaoyao. Seeing this scene, the third prince and the others looked as if they had eaten a fly. Their faces turned purple. They felt as if they were using their own money to support a love rival. The heavenly zither maiden's eyes shone with a strange light. She looked at Jun Xiaoyao and hesitated for a moment before speaking. I have a presumptuous request. I hope that I can play zither with young master for an entire night. The mysterious young master in front of her had an outstanding temperament and was shockingly talented. Since he could take out an ancient sacred weapon so casually, it was obvious that his background was not ordinary. In addition, his Tao of the Guqin was so extraordinary that even she admitted defeat. Even though the heavenly zither maiden was an ice beauty, she could not help but melt at this moment. Water gushed out. Hearing this, the third prince and the others felt their chests tighten. Their faces alternated between green and white. Play zither for an entire night? Or talk about love for an entire night? The third prince felt like he had been cheated on. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a faint smile. Things were indeed developing as he had expected. Perhaps the plan could be carried out smoothly. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to speak, a female voice interrupted them. I'm very interested in that zither of yours, the entire book. Chapter 101. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes turned cold when he heard that voice. He then turned to look at Feng Qingling. Feng Qingling's eyes were burning as she looked at the phoenix, Cry Qishan Guqin. The attributes of this Guqin were very compatible with her. It was as if it was tailor-made for her. Not to mention, it was a rare ancient sacred weapon. A Guqin-type ancient sacred weapon was too rare. It was not just used to cultivate one's temperament. It was very powerful as a weapon against enemies. Therefore, Feng Qingling was tempted and couldn't help but speak. Oh so, Jun Xiaoyao asked in a playful tone. 1,000 supreme-grade divine sources in exchange for your Guqin. Feng Qingling said casually. Some of the young geniuses around took a deep breath. She was indeed the successor of the Archean royalty. She could casually take out 1,000 supreme-grade divine sources. However, many people looked at the phoenix Cry Qishan Guqin in Jun Xiaoyao's hand. Compared to the Guqin, an ancient sacred weapon, 1,000 supreme-grade divine sources were definitely not much. It was even a little shabby. After all, the value of an ancient sacred weapon could not be measured by supreme-grade divine sources. At the very least, it needed to be measured by celestial sources. However, even if Feng Qingling was the daughter of the 1,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain, she could not take out that many celestial sources. Celestial sources were very rare and in short supply even in the Jun family. 1,000 supreme-grade divine sources in exchange for my Guqin. If your brain is not working well, find someone to cure it, Jun Xiaoyao said coldly. He had not taken the initiative to cause trouble for the Thousand Phoenix Spirit Mountain, but the people of the Thousand Phoenix Spirit Mountain dared to set their eyes on his Guqin. Do you know who I am? Feng Qingling raised her eyebrows. I don't care who you are, and I'm not interested at all. If you want to die, you can continue to dance in front of me. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was indifferent. Hearing this, many young geniuses widened their eyes. Feng Qingling was the daughter of the Thousand Phoenix Spirit Mountain. Her status and strength were not to be trifled with. Even the successor of an immortal force would not have such an attitude in front of Feng Qingling. You're courting death, refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Feng Qingling's beautiful eyes spat out scarlet flames. She was truly furious. As a noble daughter of the 10,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain, wherever she went, everyone would look up to her. No one was willing to offend her. In her opinion, since she took a fancy to this ancient zither, Jun Xiaoyao should be very happy to give it to her. Feng Qingling immediately made her move. With a wave of her lily-white hand, a series of crimson runes soared into the sky, seemingly condensing into a pair of phoenix wings. Could that be the divine power of the true phoenix? Many elites in the surroundings stood up, their eyes filled with shock. The true phoenix grand theurgy of the Thousand Phoenix Spirit Mountain was on par with the true dragon grand theurgy of the lair of Zulom. They were both top martial arts theurgies of the immortal realm. That's not right. There's the charm of a true phoenix's great divine ability in it, but it's not the true phoenix's great divine ability. It should be an extension of Sans Ho. The eyes of some of the more knowledgeable geniuses flickered as they spoke. However, even if it was just a loose move, it was still extremely powerful when used by Feng Qingling. Not to mention, her cultivation base had already reached the perfected stage of the consolidation realm. Feng Qingling was worthy of her status as the noble daughter of the 10,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain to have such a cultivation base at such a young age. Young master, be careful. Ji Yanran and the heavenly zither maiden both cried out involuntarily. The third prince's expression darkened when he saw the heavenly zither maiden paying so much attention to Jun Xiaoyao. He won't even know how he's going to die if he offends a noble daughter of the 10,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain. The third prince thought coldly in his heart, just as this thought surfaced in his mind. In the next moment, Jun Xiaoyao made his move. He did not use any techniques. He simply struck out with his palm. Splat! Jun Xiaoyao's palm collided with Feng Qingling's attack. It was accompanied by a hair-raising, cracking sound. Feng Qingling's face suddenly turned ghastly pale. Crack! Her jade-like arm was broken by a terrifying force, and her bones were shattered. Her entire body was also knocked back and finally crashed into a stone pillar. Fortunately, the entire Immortal Jade Tower was covered in defensive arrays. Otherwise, this collision alone would have been enough to destroy half of the Immortal Jade Tower. How is this possible? Feng Qingling's red lips were as pale as a sheet of paper. The divine flames around her were all scattered, revealing her true appearance. There was a hint of panic on her snow-white and beautiful face. Although she was a woman, her figure was slender and her bones were slender. However, she had a trace of the phoenix bloodline, so her physical strength was far stronger than some human cultivators who focused on body refinement. It was because of this that she was shocked. How could this human's physical body be so terrifying? Could it be that he was also an Archean royalty, like her? When Jun Xiaoyao saw this, he struck out with his palm again. He did not need to use any techniques to deal with Feng Qingling. He could suppress her with just one hand. Feng Qingling gritted her teeth when she saw Jun Xiaoyao strike out with his palm again. Her pride as an Archean royalty made her unable to accept such humiliation. Red light bloomed on Feng Qingling's arm, and her bones began to heal rapidly. What a powerful physical body. I heard that Feng Qingling was baptized by the Phoenix blood pool in the Thousand Phoenix Spirit Mountain. Her physical body is amazing. It seems that the rumors are true. Feng Qingling's condition amazed the crowd once again. She was indeed the successor of an imperishable orthodoxy. Her various techniques and trump cards were far from what ordinary sky prides could compare to. What's the use? Jun Xiaoyao's face was indifferent and expressionless. Flying Phoenix Claw. Feng Qingling turned her palm into a claw, and a phoenix claw surrounded by red light appeared. It tore through the air and made a hissing sound. This claw could instantly tear an ordinary consolidation realm sky pride to shreds. Jun Xiaoyao formed a fist seal and directly shattered the flying phoenix claw. Feng Qingling was sent flying again and coughed out a mouthful of blood. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold. His right arm was faintly glowing and surrounded by divine light. He activated the power of an immortal bone of the great all-embracing heaven. In an instant, goosebumps appeared all over Feng Qingling's body. An extreme sense of danger rose from her heart. Jun Xiaoyao showed no mercy. His fist was earth-shattering. Feng Qingling waved one hand and hurriedly took out a protective Dharma treasure. It was a golden shield that looked like a phoenix's wings folded together. Boom! Accompanied by a loud explosion, it was as if divine metals had collided. That shield, which was not of a low grade, was actually shattered into pieces by the impact. Feng Qingling was scared out of her wits. The phoenix wings on her back flapped, and she directly soared into the sky. She flashed into the carriage and fled as fast as she could. She didn't even have time to leave a vicious word. Dead silence. All the sky prides on the top floor of the immortal Jade Tower seemed to have been petrified. Their bodies stiffened. Feng Qingling, the famous noblewoman of the 1,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain, had been defeated in 3 moves. If this news spread, it would cause quite a stir. The heavenly Zither maiden looked at Jun Xiaoyao with a strange light in her eyes. Jianron's mouth was also wide open. She clearly didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to be so strong. The young master of the Myriad Treasures Chamber of Commerce's expression changed from the initial suspicion and fear to the current seriousness. As the young master of the Chamber of Commerce, he had a slick personality and was very shrewd. He knew that such a person could not be provoked in the slightest. But the third prince was different. He was born high and mighty. In the Panwu Jin dynasty, he was someone who could summon the wind and summon the rain. And now, Jun Xiaoyao's appearance undoubtedly made him feel a sense of danger. When he saw the heavenly Zither maiden's attitude toward Jun Xiaoyao, the third prince was even more displeased. Young master, you still haven't replied to the heavenly Zither maiden's small request from before, the heavenly Zither maiden said faintly. She was naturally referring to the matter of talking to Jun Xiaoyao through the night. No, it was the matter of playing the zither. There was actually a hint of coquettishness in her words. The entire book. Chapter 102. Seeing the heavenly zither maiden's expression, many of the male talents present felt like they could hear their hearts shattering. However, they knew better than anyone that Jun Xiaoyao was not someone to be trifled with. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the heavenly zither maiden's tempted expression and his lips curled slightly. Reality proved that there was no such thing as an icy beauty in this world. The reason why she was so cold to you was not because of her personality, but because she simply did not like you. The third prince was such a pitiful existence. His status was not low, but in terms of personality, ability, and other aspects, he was not worthy of the heavenly zither maiden's attention. In comparison, Jun Xiaoyao was like a deity in the eyes of the heavenly zither maiden. His mysterious identity and terrifying strength were not even worth mentioning. Just his superb zither skills alone were enough to win the heavenly zither maiden's heart. Unfortunately, Jun Xiaoyao was not interested in the heavenly zither maiden. However, in order to set the third prince up, Jun Xiaoyao could only agree. Since the heavenly zither maiden has invited me like this, it would be impolite of me to refuse, Jun Xiaoyao said warmly. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's agreement, the heavenly zither maiden was overjoyed. A charming smile appeared on her frosty expression. This made the third prince so jealous that his eyes were about to turn red. He could not buy the smile of a beauty with money. Jun Xiaoyao's casual agreement made the heavenly zither maiden smile sweetly. Sir, please. The heavenly zither maiden seemed to be impatient. She wanted to play the zither and discuss with Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly, and left with Ji Yanran and the heavenly zither maiden. Leaving behind a group of bootlickers, they looked at each other in disarray in the wind. Sigh, third prince, we've fought for so long, but in the end, it all went to someone else. The young master of the Million Treasures Chamber of Commerce walked over and shook his head with a bitter smile. Are you really willing to let that guy get his hands on the heavenly zither maiden? A dark look appeared in the third prince's eyes. I'll only give you one warning. It's best not to provoke that person, said the young master of the Million Treasures Chamber of Commerce. Oh, you know his identity? The third prince's eyes flashed. I don't know. It's just an intuition, said the young master of the Myriad Treasures Chamber of Commerce. He had seen too many people. He already had an intuition about who he could offend and who he couldn't. I can't afford to provoke him. So what if he's a descendant of an imperishable orthodoxy? I'm still a prince of the Panwu dynasty. The third prince sneered, flicked his sleeves, and left. Sigh, if you don't listen to good advice, you'll suffer. The young master of the Myriad Treasures Chamber of Commerce shook his head. He faintly felt that this third prince was going to be in big trouble. The zither competition in the Immortal Jade Pavilion came to an end. However, it caused quite a stir. That was because this was the first time someone of the younger generation had surpassed the Celestial Harp Maiden in terms of Guqin. The fact that the noble daughter of the 10,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain, Feng Qingling, was crushed by a mysterious young master shocked many people. Within the imperial capital, many cultivators in the restaurants and tea houses were discussing this news. It's almost time for the eldest princess to choose her husband. All sorts of powerful geniuses have appeared. Yeah, that Feng Qingling of the 10,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain, who could be considered one of the most powerful in the younger generation, was defeated so easily. I really don't know what kind of freak will appear in the future. I'm looking forward to the arrival of the son of God of the June family. Unfortunately, I haven't heard any news about him. Let's continue to wait. I believe that the son of God of the June family will not let the champion marquis be so arrogant. In the eastern region of the imperial capital, there was a secluded and elegant villa. From time to time, faint sounds of Guqin could be heard, causing people to shudder. The moon was high in the sky. Jun Xiaoyao, who was dressed in white, stepped out of the villa, followed by the reluctant Celestial Harp Maiden. Young master, it's already so late. Why don't you rest in the villa? The Celestial Harp Maiden's voice carried a trace of longing. She and Jun Xiaoyao were in the villa, playing the Guqin and discussing the Tao. It was a comfortable and pleasant experience. She had never experienced such a feeling before. No, I still have matters to attend to. I'll take my leave first, Jun Xiaoyao said. Is that so? That's a pity. I hope that I'll have the chance to meet you again next time. The Celestial Harp Maiden's face dimmed. Jun Xiaoyao turned to leave, but the Celestial Harp Maiden called out to him. After talking for so long, you still don't know my name? The Celestial Harp Maiden asked, her eyes glowing. Becoming an immortal is easy, but Xiaoyao is difficult. I'll take my leave. Jun Xiaoyao left. Becoming an immortal is easy, but Xiaoyao is difficult. The Celestial Harp Maiden murmured. The Heavenly Zither Maiden muttered. Then, she looked as if she had been struck by lightning. Her beautiful eyes widened. So, it's that person. The Celestial Harp Maiden took a deep breath. Surprise, joy, and all sorts of emotions churned in her heart. She had actually talked to such a transcendent being alone for so long. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao stepped into the void. I've already stayed for so long. Can that person still hold back? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered. Of course, he wasn't playing the zither and discussing Tao with the Celestial Harp Maiden out of boredom. Apart from obtaining the 300 celestial sources, his most important goal was to set up a trap to deal with the third prince. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking to himself, he suddenly realized that some of the noise around him seemed to have disappeared. Even the lights in the pavilions around the imperial capital had been completely extinguished. His surroundings were plunged into absolute darkness. Not even the chirping of insects or birds could be heard. Oh, he's here. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. It was obvious that he had fallen into an isolation array. At this moment, a shadow suddenly appeared behind Jun Xiaoyao. A blood-red sword stabbed toward Jun Xiaoyao's back. Doubt integration stage. Jun Xiaoyao immediately determined that person's aura. Dying. A hoarse voice came out from the shadow's mouth. The blood-red tip of the sword carried a fatal sharpness. Blood kill, swordsmanship. You're an assassin from the Hades heaven, Jun Xiaoyao said as he turned his body and slammed his palm toward the sword. The Hades heaven was a notorious assassin organization in the Huangtian mystic realm. As long as the price was high enough, they could assassinate anyone. They even dared to assassinate people from the imperishable orthodoxies. Foolish. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao block his sword with his palm, the assassin sneered. His cultivation level was already one level higher than Jun Xiaoyao's. Moreover, he was using a noble weapon to perform a top-level assassination swordsmanship. Under such circumstances, Jun Xiaoyao still fought back with his palm. In the assassin's eyes, this was beyond stupid. However, in the next moment, the Hades heaven assassin couldn't laugh anymore. Clang! A sound like metal clashing rang out. Jun Xiaoyao had shattered a noble weapon with his bare hands. Not only that, but his right arm was also surging with immortal aura. The 6 immortal bones of the great Luo boosted his strength at the same time. He threw out a punch, causing the void to tremble and ripples to appear. How is this possible? The assassin's eyes were filled with shock. Poof! Jun Xiaoyao's punch directly smashed the assassin into a bloody pulp. A rain of blood fell from the sky. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was still cold. After looking around, he said indifferently, "Come out." "Why hide?" "Haha, I underestimated you, prey. Which imperishable orthodoxy are you the successor of?" In the darkness of the night, 4 figures appeared. In addition to the 3 black-robed men, there was also a blood-robed man. The blood-robed assassin from the Hades heaven was in the Nirvana realm. Full copy. Chapter 103. After reaching the Nirvana realm, one's entire body would transform. Not only would one's physical body be baptized by the fire seed, but the true spirit in the divine palace would also be baptized and become a primordial spirit. The Tao integration realm was about finding all kinds of spirit seeds and immortal seeds to fuse with one's Tao. The Nirvana realm was about finding fire seeds to baptize one's physical body and transform one's primordial spirit. Therefore, Nirvana realm cultivators would experience a qualitative change in their strength. They were definitely not something that Tao integration realm or Unity realm cultivators could easily contend with. The assassins sent by the Hades heaven to assassinate Jun Xiaoyao were not only Tao integration realm cultivators, but there was also a Nirvana realm assassin in blood-red robes. It could be said that this was not something that any young prodigy could contend with. I admit that your strength is definitely beyond that of ordinary imperishable forces prodigies. However, do you still have room to struggle in this encirclement? The assassin in blood-red robes spoke in a raspy voice. Haven't you heard of a saying? Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. What? The assassin in blood-red robes, eyes sharpened. Villains die because they talk too much. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking, the demon wings extended from his back. He moved and punched the nearest Tao integration realm assassin. The immortal bone in his arm glowed and swirled with immortal light. He punched out, and the surging fist wind seemed to be able to tear through space. The Tao integration realm assassin instinctively stabbed out with his sword as he sensed extreme danger. A loud clanging sound rang out. Without any suspense, the assassin was blasted apart by Jun Xiaoyao. Damn it, kill! The assassin in blood-red robes had a dark expression as he charged toward Jun Xiaoyao with the other 2 assassins. A blood-red sword projection swept through the air with an aura that made one shudder. Jun Xiaoyao turned around and grabbed at the air. Magic power surged and transformed into the spear of the underworld deity, which he hurled at one of the assassins. The spear of the underworld deity pierced through the void with extreme sharpness. It was also imbued with the terrifying power of 1 billion kilograms of divine power. This spear could literally pierce through heaven and earth. The assassin's face was filled with shock. Without any resistance, he was pierced through. The physical strength of an ordinary Tao integration realm expert was far less than 1 billion kilograms, or even less than 100 million kilograms. Death curse. When the remaining assassins saw this, all the hair on his body stood on end. Even though they had undergone training and had strong mental fortitude, they still couldn't help but feel terrified in the face of such a situation. This young supreme being, who was shrouded in immortal light, was simply a little monster that couldn't be understood with common sense. Therefore, the black-clothed assassin directly used a secret curse technique of the Nether Heaven in an attempt to trick Jun Xiaoyao. At the same time, the assassin in crimson clothes also attacked. Two crimson swords crossed each other, forming a cross that seemed to be able to cut through the void. It was an extremely powerful sword technique from the Netherworld Heaven, the cross-blood killing technique. Jun Xiaoyao's expression remained solemn. The power of the secret curse technique fell on him, but it didn't cause any ripples. After all, Jun Xiaoyao's sacred body of the ancients was invulnerable to all evils. It was immune to all kinds of evil and dark forces. The power of the secret curse technique was also a dark force. Naturally, it couldn't affect Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao blasted out with his palm, pushing the assassin in black clothes horizontally. The assassin's body was violently split open, and blood splattered across the sky. "You have a death wish." When a remaining assassin in crimson clothes saw this, a cold smile appeared on his face. His cross-blood killing technique had already fallen in front of Jun Xiaoyao. At that moment, a slender greenish-golden armor suddenly condensed on the surface of Jun Xiaoyao's body. It shone with a cold and solid metallic luster. It was the Azure Sky Ancestral Dragon Armor. Clang! The assassin in crimson clothes attack landed on the armor, causing sparks to fly. However, it couldn't cause any damage to Jun Xiaoyao. How can this be? However, before the assassin in crimson clothes could be shocked, a divine sequence chain suddenly rushed out from Jun Xiaoyao's glabella. It turned into a golden short sword and rushed out. It was the primitive Emperor Tao sword. This move was too sudden. Coupled with the close distance, even the assassin in crimson clothes didn't have enough time to react and dodge. Puff! The assassin in crimson clothes' entire body was shattered by the primitive Emperor Tao sword. A ray of flowing light escaped from the divine palace in his mind. It was the assassin's primordial spirit. "Do you think you can escape?" Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and raised his hand. This assassin in crimson clothes was the key to his plan. The giant golden hand of magic power directly trapped the assassin's primordial spirit. "Who paid you to kill me?" Jun Xiaoyao asked. The assassin's primordial spirit was frightened, but he didn't say anything. Not revealing the identity and whereabouts of the buyer was an unspoken rule of any assassin organization. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care. He said faintly, "Actually, I know who it is even if you don't tell me. I just need to leave some evidence." After saying that, Jun Xiaoyao directly urged his soul power. Suddenly, a gigantic black millstone appeared in the void. It was stained with blood, as if it was stained with the blood of gods and demons. "What is that?" The assassin's primordial spirit felt a sense of fear and trembling from the bottom of his soul. "If you don't say it yourself, then I'll let you have a taste of the primordial divine millstone crushing your soul," Jun Xiaoyao said. This primordial divine millstone was a technique he had developed through the primordial divine millstone visualization method. Jun Xiaoyao's soul was immune to the pain caused by the primordial divine millstone because he was a transmigrated soul. However, others didn't have this ability. The pain of the soul was millions of times worse than that of the physical body. Ah, 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 ah. The pain of the soul being crushed caused the assassin's primordial spirit to scream and shake. Jun Xiaoyao controlled his strength and didn't directly crush the assassin's primordial spirit. The pain of the soul being crushed by the primordial divine millstone was millions of times worse than death by 1,000 cuts. In the end, the assassin's primordial spirit couldn't take it anymore. "Speak. Who bribed the Hades Heaven's assassins to assassinate me?" Jun Xiaoyao's tone was indifferent. He took out the luster stone. This stone could record sound and images. It's the third prince of the Panwu Jin dynasty. The assassin's primordial spirit was extremely weak and weak. All right, Jun Xiaoyao smiled and put away the luster stone. Then, he used the primordial divine millstone to crush the assassin's primordial spirit. Playing with the luster stone in his hand, Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and said, "Third prince, oh third prince, I'm afraid you don't even know who the target of your assassination is, right? Bribing the Hades Heaven's assassins to assassinate the son of God of the Jun family of the Primordial era. If this news spread, not only would the third prince be consigned to eternal damnation, even the entire Panwu Jin dynasty would be greatly implicated. The anger of the Jun family of the Primordial era wasn't just for show. All of the immortal orthodoxies feared that their prodigies would be targeted by assassin organizations. Therefore, bribing assassin organizations was considered a taboo. The third prince didn't know how terrifying the identity of the person he wanted to assassinate was. If he knew Jun Xiaoyao's identity, he wouldn't have dared to do such a thing even if he was given 100 guts. After Jun Xiaoyao killed the Hades Heaven's assassin, the third prince was in a secret side hall of the Jin dynasty's imperial palace, waiting for news from the Hades Heaven. The entire book. Chapter 104. Trying to compete with me for a woman? You're too naive. The third prince sneered. Although he knew that the mysterious man was extraordinary, he could not take this lying down. Moreover, he was a prince of the immortal Jin dynasty and had a high status. He did not need to be afraid of the successor of an immortal force. Moreover, the assassins of the Hades Heaven would not reveal the identity of the buyer, regardless of the outcome. Therefore, even if the assassination failed, the third prince did not need to worry about his identity being exposed. Of course, the third prince did not know that Jun Xiaoyao had the Chaos Divine Grindstone. It's impossible to fail. The assassins we sent were all one level higher than that person. There were even Nirvana powerhouses who were 2 levels higher. The third prince's lips curled into a smile, full of confidence. At this moment, a hoarse voice transmission was heard. The assassination failed. The Hades Heaven will not act for a while. What? Hearing this, the third prince's expression suddenly changed. What happened? Or did a protector make a move? The third prince asked. The only possibility he could think of was that a path protector intervened. No, before they act, they should check and confirm, the voice said. So you're saying that a mere consolidation realm cultivator killed the path integration realm and Nirvana realm assassins of the Hades Heaven? The third prince could not believe it. That's the truth. We've already alerted the enemy. We won't act for a while, and we won't return the reward. After saying this, the voice disappeared. The third prince was left with a gloomy expression. How could this be? Where did that person come from? Is he really so powerful? The third prince did not want to believe it. He had paid a huge price, but in the end, this was the result. He even suspected that the Hades Heaven was just trying to fool him. However, although an assassin organization like the Hades Heaven was cold-blooded and cruel, they valued credibility the most. If they did not have credibility, no one would look for them. The third prince's expression kept changing. He felt a sense of unease in his heart. It was as if he had caused a disaster. Could that person be? No, that's impossible. How could there be such a coincidence? Faintly, a name rose in the third prince's mind, but was immediately dispelled. That name was too terrifying. If it was really him, the third prince could not imagine what would happen to him. No, this prince must be overthinking things. Moreover, even if that Hades Heaven assassin is dead, it's impossible for him to reveal my identity. The third prince seemed to be comforting himself. The imperial city, in a simple and quiet courtyard. Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged, refining the immortal origin he obtained. 300 immortal sources were enough for Jun Xiaoyao to refine another batch of origin immortal bones. That third prince is really pitiful. He lost his immortal source, lost his woman, and was even tricked by me. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head. The third prince was a pitiful man. However, when he thought about it, Xiao Chun, Ji Xian, the champion marquis, and the others who were his enemies also seemed to be pitiful. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself that Xiao Chun should be coming to the imperial capital of the divine dynasty soon, right? He's going to put on a show of stealing the bride. I'd love to see him compete with the marquee champion. He also vaguely guessed that Xiao Chen's fate was not over yet. His appearance this time might bring about a great change. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not care. No matter how much Xiao Chun changed, it would be difficult for him to catch up to his shadow. On the other hand, Jun Xiaoyao hoped that Xiao Chun would become more powerful. Otherwise, it would not be so interesting when the time came. Now that the two chess pieces have been set, the Panwu Jin dynasty has no choice but to open the Panwu mausoleum to me. Next, I'll refine these immortal sources and wait for the banquet to begin. Jun Xiaoyao murmured and once again sank into cultivation. As the days passed, the day of Wu Mingyue's son-in-law selection was getting closer and closer. Forces from all over the world gathered at the Jin dynasty's imperial city, like rivers flowing into the sea. In the sky, there was a group of flying ancient beasts pulling a carriage, which rumbled and crushed the sky. The flag of the Jun family was placed on the carriage. The noise attracted the attention of countless people from all over the place. The Jun family of the ancients is here. The Jun family is really here. Is the Son of God among them? The Son of God of the Jun family subdued the nine-headed lion as a mount. But why don't I see him? Don't tell me he really didn't come? Many people looked surprised when they saw the Jun family's convoy. Everyone knew that the Son of God of the Jun family had the nine-headed lion pulling his carriage. However, there was no sign of the nine-headed lion at the moment. Inside the carriage, Jun Zhangjian and several other sequences sat together and discussed. The Son of God should be in the imperial city by now, right? Jun Zhangjian asked. He should be here, but the young master should have his own plans. We don't need to disturb him, Jun Linglong said. She was smart and knew that Jun Xiaoyao must have set off in advance, because he had some kind of arrangement that made it inconvenient for him to bring them along. That's right. How can we understand the Son of God's thoughts? Jun Xiaohuang said. But the words of the champion head are really annoying. Who gave him the courage to provoke the young master? Jun Wanji's eyes flashed with lightning, and his tone was full of disdain. He had to admit that the marquee champion was by no means weak, but it would have been impossible for the marquee champion to crush Jun Xiaoyao. He's just a clown. When the time comes, the Son of God will be able to suppress him easily, Jun Xiaohuang said. They all had great confidence in Jun Xiaoyao. At the gate of the imperial city. Stop. Why are you wrapped up so tightly? Take off your hood and let us check you, a guard at the gate said to a black-robed figure. They did not dare to stop Jun Xiaoyao and other transcendent geniuses from checking. But these civilian cultivators could not avoid being checked. The black-robed figure slowly took off his hood, revealing a delicate and handsome face. It was Xiao Chun. At this moment, Xiao Chen's face was full of determination and determination. Even the guards at the gate were intimidated by Xiao Chen's aura. Okay, go in. The guard swallowed and did not dare to say more. The aura that Xiao Chen vaguely revealed was not much different from that of the geniuses from the immortal forces. Success or failure depends on this. Xiao Chen clenched his fists. His pupils seemed to have turned as green as the heavens. There were also faint patterns of blue dragon light flowing under his skin. After being baptized by the supreme blood, Xiao Chen's strength improved by leaps and bounds. He directly broke through to the perfect consolidation realm. Not only that, but his spell of dragon transformation in blue heaven was also completely perfected with the help of the supreme blood. And the spell of dragon transformation in blue heaven was a supreme technique. In addition, he also learned and refined many martial arts of the blue dragon bloodline from the supreme blood. It could be said that Xiao Chen was now more than 100 times stronger than before. The improvement of his strength also gave Xiao Chen a lot of confidence. This time, I will marry Mingyu and become the emperor of the Panwu Jin dynasty. Whether it's the champion head or Jun Xiaoyao, they will all be under my feet. The final winner can only be me, Xiao Chen. The whole book. Chapter 105. Finally, half a month later, it was the day of the banquet. On this day, the entire imperial city seemed to be in an uproar. People from all the major forces were rushing to the Forbidden City in the center of the imperial city. Many people who were not qualified to attend the banquet also followed, even if it was just to watch the show from the outside. Many people were also very curious about who would get Wu Mingyue, the Pearl of the Divine Dynasty, in the end. The Forbidden City, the palace of the Panwu Jin dynasty. The magnificent Forbidden City was like an ancient heavenly court with a majestic aura. The roof of the Jinke Cloud Palace was covered with divine clouds and colorful lights. From afar, it looked like the palace of a Lingxiao palace. It was said that great Emperor Panwu had ordered countless craftsmen to build the Forbidden City when he founded the Divine Dynasty. It was also a great symbol of the Panwu Jin dynasty. As for the Panwu Mausoleum, it was deep behind the Forbidden City. It was also an absolute forbidden area of the Jin dynasty. Anyone who approached it without permission would be killed without mercy. At this moment, a banquet was held in the Forbidden City. Countless delicacies were served by the palace maids. Many people from the top forces and the imperishable orthodoxies were gathered. In a hall in the Forbidden City, Wu Mingyue, dressed in a red dress, sat in front of a dressing table. There were a few maids next to her who were tying up her hair. Wu Mingyue, dressed in a red dress, looked even more charming. Her eyes were watery, and her eyebrows were drawn like ink. Her smooth skin was lightly powdered, and there was a cinnabar pill in her mouth. She was incomparably beautiful. However, there was a hint of melancholy between her eyebrows that could not be removed. A maid who had been with her since she was a child saw this and said, "Your Highness, today is the day you choose your husband. You should be happy." Wu Mingyue heard this and shook her head slightly. "Cheer, how can I be happy if I can't choose my other half freely?" Wu Mingyue was wondering if Xiao Chen would come. In fact, she did not want Xiao Chen to come, because even if Xiao Chen came, he could not change anything. Her royal father, God Lord Pan Wu, would never allow her to marry a minor character with no background. Unless Xiao Chen's talent was as monstrous as Jun Xiaoyao's, only then would he be valued. But was it possible? How many people in the entire Huangtian mystic realm could match Jun Xiaoyao in terms of talent? Xiao Chen was indeed very hardworking. But if hard work was of any use, then what was the point of having geniuses? Your Highness, you don't have to be too disappointed. Among those young elites, there might be someone who is worthy of your Highness. She comforted. Who is it? Could it be that marquis champion? Wu Mingyue sneered. She knew that God Lord Pan Wu had always wanted her to marry the champion marquis. This was because the champion marquis had been recognized by the Pan Huang Life Spirit Sword. There was a slight possibility that he was the reincarnation of great Emperor Pan Wu. Of course, even if that wasn't the case, it didn't matter. What God Lord Pan Wu wanted the most was for the champion marquis to find the 3 swords of Pan Huang for him. The Pan Huang Life Spirit Sword was only one of the 3 Pan Huang swords. Other than that, there was also the Coiling Emperor Time Sword and the Coiling Emperor Void Sword. It was rumored that when the 3 Pan Huang swords were combined, they could become Great Emperor Pan Wu's Dao, Proving Emperor Weapon, the Pan Huang Sword. Emperor weapons were also known as Ancient Emperor Weapons, Great Emperor Weapons, and Extreme Emperor Weapons. They were the weapons of the ancient great emperors and possessed great power. Once the Emperor weapon was used, it could shatter the 9 heavens and the universe. It could destroy the 8 star fields. It could cross the universe and kill billions of living beings. To put it in an unimaginable way, the deterrent power of an Emperor weapon was equivalent to nuclear weapons. Generally speaking, immortal orthodoxies that had supreme great emperors in their ancestors all had emperor weapons. The Panwu Jin dynasty also had one, but later on, the Pan Huang sword was divided into 3. The Panwu Jin dynasty experienced a lot of turmoil, and in the end, the 3 swords of Pan Huang were lost. It was not until Yang Pan obtained the Pan Huang Life Spirit Sword that the Panwu Jin dynasty regained hope. It was because of this that God Lord Pan Wu thought so highly of Yang Pan and directly conferred him the title of Marquis Champion. This caused Yang Pan to become even more arrogant. He was lawless in the entire Panwujin dynasty, like a local tyrant. When she heard the words Marquis Champion, a hint of disgust flashed in her eyes. The reputation of the Marquis Champion was too terrible. Your Highness, there's no need to be sad. Maybe there's someone who can suppress the Marquis Champion. As she spoke, a look of yearning suddenly appeared on her face. You mean, Wu Mingwe said. That's right. Of course, it's the Jun family son of God. Rumor has it that he was born like an immortal. His personality is good, his strength is strong, and his background is unparalleled. He's simply the most perfect person in Shi-Er's heart. Shi-Er was incomparably longing, and her eyes were filled with little stars. Good personality? An immortal-like existence? Wu Mingyue's jade face tensed up. Another ignorant girl who had been led astray. How was Jun Xiaoyao an immortal? He was simply a devil who ate people without spitting out the bones. He did not have the slightest bit of pity for her and even used despicable methods to coerce her into becoming a slave. Until now, Wu Mingwe had been guarding this secret to the death. Don't mention him anymore. Wu Mingyue's expression was slightly cold. Oh, seeing that Wu Mingyue's expression was not right, she tactfully shut her mouth. She thought that Wu Mingyue was unhappy because of the Marquis Champion. I hope he doesn't come. Wu Mingyue prayed in her heart. Otherwise, when the time came, she really did not know how to face Jun Xiaoyao. At the same time, in a quiet courtyard with a pleasant scenery in the imperial capital, the immortal mist was faint and the multicolored light lingered. A divine aura pervaded the air. In the courtyard, Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged on the ground. The flowers and plants around him seemed to be nourished, bright, and lush. And Jun Xiaoyao's aura was even more transcendent. His right arm seemed to be branded with immortal runes, as if it was the arm of an immortal. In the distance, Ji Yanran looked at Jun Xiaoyao with a face of surprise, and her heart was shocked. That kind of scene was too amazing. On the side, the nine-headed lion, who had transformed into a nine-headed Shiba Inu, was lying lazily on the ground, eating spirit beast meat. Young Master's aura is too terrifying, Ji Yanran exclaimed. Master is a monster. This kind of scene is not strange at all, the nine-headed lion replied lazily. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's body shook slightly, and he also ended his cultivation. In front of him, there was a pile of immortal sources that had lost their spirituality. Not bad. I've tempered 14 Daluo immortal bones. Together with the 6 from before, I have exactly 20 now, Jun Xiaoyao whispered. His right arm, including the wrist, palm, and finger bones, had a total of 20 bones that had been tempered into Daluo immortal bones. Compared to before, the power had definitely increased by a lot. It's still a bottomless pit. If only I could find a fat and oily leak. Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. However, he thought for a while and did not find a suitable candidate for the time being. As for Yi Xingyun, Jun Xiaoyao did not care about this insignificant character at all. He also did not know that Yi Xingyun had changed so much. The banquet is about to start. Jun Xiaoyao got up and walked over to Ji Yanran and the nine-headed lion. Let's go, Jun Xiaoyao said. Where are you going, young master? Ji Yanran asked. The Imperial Palace, the Forbidden City. I'm going to meet you. Jun Xiaoyao said with a deep look in his eyes. Meet you? Ji Yanran was puzzled. At this moment, the nine-headed lion did a somersault and rose into the air. Golden light surged and shook the sky. All the cultivators within a 10-mile radius were stunned. In the divine light, a majestic nine-headed lion appeared and roared at the sky. Jun Xiaoyao stepped into the void and sat cross-legged on the nine-headed lion. Why, aren't you coming with me? This son of God said that you might look forward to it. Jun Xiaoyao looked down at Ji Yanran. Ji Yanran, who was on the ground, was rooted to the spot like a clay statue. It was as if she had lost her soul. Young master is the son of God of the Jun family? Ji Yanran covered her pink lips with her hand and could not help but cry out. Blood rushed to her head and her pretty face flushed red. Her head was dizzy and she almost fainted from excessive surprise and excitement. The complete book. Chapter 106. In Ji Yanran's eyes, Jun Xiaoyao was a figure that only existed in legends. Now that Ji Yanran knew Jun Xiaoyao's true identity, she was rooted to the spot. This was too dreamy, too unrealistic. Why are you standing there like a fool? Jun Xiaoyao asked. Jin. Ji Yanran greets Lord Son of God. Ji Yanran stuttered and bowed to Jun Xiaoyao. All right, come on up. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand. He was used to this kind of humble and respectful attitude. Ji Yanran was nervous and excited. Her face was red as she jumped onto the back of the nine-headed lion. The nine-headed lion could be big or small. It could carry 100 people without a problem. Ji Yanran stood behind and looked at Jun Xiaoyao with respect and admiration. Don't worry, Yang Pan will pay the price. Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. He didn't want to avenge Ji Yanran. He just wanted to take advantage of Yang Pan. But in Ji Yanran's eyes, this was revenge for her. Thank you, Lord Son of God. Ji Yanran's voice was trembling. Others might not be able to defeat the marquee champion, but Ji Yanran believed that Jun Xiaoyao could do it. When the cultivators who were attracted by the nine-headed lion saw the transcendent figure standing on the nine-headed lion, their eyes widened and they sucked in a deep breath. Is that the son of God of the Jun family? Yes, he is. He has the ability to tame the nine-headed lion and make it his mount. And his aura is so strong. There is no one else other than the son of God of the Jun family. Someone said that the son of God of the Jun family was afraid of the marquee champion. Who would have thought that the son of God was already here? I'm afraid the son of God doesn't care about the marquee champion at all. In all directions, there was an uproar. Many curious, passionate, worshipful, and surprised gazes fell upon Jun Xiaoyao in unison. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. Sometimes being too famous was also a kind of trouble. The nine-headed lion carried Jun Xiaoyao and Qin Xian into the sky. Jun Xiaoyao looked into the distance in the direction of the Forbidden City. The Marquis of Champion has been jumping around for so long. It's time to give him a slap and wake him up to reality, Jun Xiaoyao said with his hands behind his back. Imperial Palace, Forbidden City. The four forces had gathered, and the atmosphere was extremely noisy. From time to time, forces would arrive and take their seats. At this moment, two phoenix cries suddenly resounded in the sky. Two dazzling golden phoenixes pulled two carriages across the void. That's Myriad Phoenix Spirit Mountain. Many cultivators raised their heads and looked over. As a top Archean royalty on par with Zulong, the prestige and deterrence of the 10,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain was no less than the former. Two red streams of light flashed out of the chariots. They were Huang Xuani and Feng Qingling. Both of them had wings on their backs. Feng Qingling's skin was snow white, and her red eyes were crystal clear. Her expression was cold, and she was not very good-looking. Obviously, she was still brooding over what had happened in the Immortal Jade Tower. That kind of embarrassing experience was like a nightmare for a noble lady like her. Huang Xuani, on the other hand, was wearing a red robe with wings on his shoulders. He looked very handsome, and there was a red mark between his eyebrows. It was very mysterious. It's Huang Xuani and Feng Qingling. These two are quite famous geniuses of the 10,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain. But I heard that Feng Qingling was taught a lesson by a mysterious genius in the Immortal Jade Tower. Shoo, keep your voice down. Don't let others hear you. Disaster will befall you, a cultivator hurriedly warned. Nothing good would come out of offending the 10,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain. Feng Qingling heard the faint discussion, and her face turned even uglier. Qingling, with your strength, you shouldn't have been defeated so easily, Huang Xuani said. That guy's physical strength is even more terrifying than our Archean royalty. Feng Qingling's tone was full of resentment. Do you think it could be the son of God of the Jun family, who has the sacred body of the ancients? Huang Xuani guessed. Huang Xuani couldn't think of any physique more terrifying than the Archean royalty, except for a few physiques, such as the sacred body of the human race. The son of God of the Jun family? Feng Qingling's delicate body suddenly trembled. She didn't think of it before because she heard that Jun Xiaoyao didn't come to the Jin dynasty in Panwu. Moreover, it was impossible that everyone with a strong physical body was Jun Xiaoyao. But now that Feng Qingling thought about it carefully, she felt that it was not impossible. It seems that it's most likely, Huang Xuanyi said. If it's really him, then the son of God of the Jun family is even more terrifying than the rumors say. Feng Qingling was very afraid. When they first left Wan Huang's spirit mountain, they said that Jun Xiaoyao would be at a disadvantage if he underestimated them. But now, Feng Qingling was the one who suffered a big loss. Don't worry. When the time comes, let me meet Jun Xiaoyao, Huang Xuanyi said in a calm tone. His eyes seemed to be burning with a scarlet gold flame. As the top genius of Wan Huang's spirit mountain, when had he ever been afraid of anyone? Xuanyi, you must help me get revenge, Feng Qingling said through gritted teeth. Until now, her jade-like arm was still aching. The two of them talked and went to the VIP seats. In another sky, a carriage came through the air. Seeing the flag on the carriage, many people were surprised. The Yi family of the ancients is here. Two figures flashed out of the carriage. It was Yi Xingyun and his old servant, Uncle Fu. Uncle Fu looked at Yi Xingyun with a hint of relief. Ever since Yi Xingyun suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao, he seemed to have become a different person after returning to the Yi family. He was in seclusion all day, immersing himself in cultivation. His personality was also much more mature than before, washing away the arrogance and impulsiveness of a young man. Jun Xiaoyao, will you show up? Yi Xingyun muttered to himself. Not long after Yi Xingyun and the others took their seats. On the other side, flying ancient beasts pulled a chariot again. That's the Wang family of the northern region. Some people from the major forces widened their eyes. The Wang family of the northern region was located in the northernmost part of the Huangtian mystic realm. It was a famous clan of the ancients in the northern region, occupying more than 30 prefectures. It was known as the overlord of the northern region. The Wang family of the northern region is here. Is the young emperor of the Wang family here to compete for the position of the prince consort? Some cultivators looked over. The most famous member of the Wang family of the northern region was their genius, the young emperor of the Wang family, Wang Tong. He was a man who was described by his father as having the bearing of a great emperor. Wang Tong rarely entered the world. He spent most of his time in seclusion. However, every time he entered the world, there would be a group of geniuses challenging him. In the end, no one was a match for Wang Tong. Therefore, Wang Tong's name began to spread throughout the Huangtian mystic realm. TSK. If the young emperor of the Wang family is here this time, it will be interesting. Yeah, son of God, young emperor, marquis champion. Which one of them isn't amazing? Many people were looking forward to the clash between the son of God of the Jun family, the young emperor of the Wang family, and the marquis champion of the Jin dynasty. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 107. Several streaks of light descended from the flying beast. Everyone looked over. The one in the lead was a tall and straight young man with an unruly look on his face. The cultivators around were slightly disappointed when they saw him. He's not the young emperor of the Wang family. He's Wang Gang, Wang Tong's younger brother. A genius shook his head in disappointment. They wanted to see the young emperor's glory. Why will my brother come here to compete with a bunch of people for the position of prince consort? Wang Gang looked around and sneered. He respected Wang Tong very much. He thought that Wang Tong might accept Wu Mingyue if she took the initiative to throw herself at him. It would be a disgrace to the young emperor if Wang Tong took the initiative to compete for the position of prince consort. The entire Wang family in the northern region was proud of Wang Tong. Just then, a carriage roared in the distance. The Jun family is finally here. Many cultivators from various forces couldn't help but stand up and look into the distance, wanting to see if Jun Xiaoyao had shown up. However, they were disappointed to see no sign of the nine-headed lion. It was Jun Xiaoyao's mount. Jun Zhantian appeared with Jun Zhanjian and a few others. After seeing that Jun Xiaoyao had indeed not shown up, All kinds of voices were heard. Of course, most people still believe that even if Jun Xiaoyao couldn't defeat the Marquis of Champion, he would never be afraid. There were also a few people who thought that Jun Xiaoyao didn't dare to show up because he was guilty. What a bunch of short-sighted people. How can the young master's strength be measured by ordinary people? Jun Linglong said calmly. Even those closest to Jun Xiaoyao didn't know his true strength. How could those outsiders know? Don't worry. I believe that Xiaoyao will come. Jun Zhantian smiled confidently. Not long after, the Jiang family also arrived. The appearance of the two beauties, Jiang Shengyi and Jiang Luoli, seemed to add color to the world. The gazes of countless people were captured by these two beautiful figures. Everyone says that the eldest princess of the Jin dynasty is extremely beautiful. However, the two beauties of the Jiang clan are even more beautiful, a young genius exclaimed. If I can win the favor of one of these two beauties, I can die without regrets. A male cultivator said in a daze. Do you think you're the son of God of the Jun family? A group of people rolled their eyes. On the Yi family side, Yi Xingyun's pupils trembled slightly. The beautiful figure of Linglong that he had been thinking about day and night had appeared. Although his personality had changed imperceptibly, his feelings remained the same. Just as Yi Xingyun was about to step forward to greet him, Jiang Luoli went straight to the Jun family. Where's Brother Xiaoyao? Where's Brother Xiaoyao? Where's he? Jiang Luoli poked her head out and scanned the crowd of the Jun family. However, no matter how she looked, she didn't see the figure that she had been thinking about day and night. Xiaoyao isn't here yet, Jun Zhantian said. You little girl, why are you in such a hurry? Jiang Xingyi walked over. Her snow-white robes were spotless. She was as beautiful as a fairy Yen Ramen. She was mesmerizing. Jiang Luoli pouted and wrinkled her little nose. She was a little unhappy, because she didn't see the person she wanted to see. Coincidentally, Yi Xingyun came over at this time. Luoli, long time no see. Yi Xingyun flashed a calm and polite smile. Who are you? Jiang Luoli was a little depressed and irritated. I'm Yi Xingyun. Yi Xingyun's face stiffened again. Oh, I remember now. Jiang Luoli nodded her little head. However, before Yi Xingyun could secretly rejoice, he heard a voice. You're the one who was beaten unconscious by Big Brother Xiaoyao, aren't you? No matter how calm Yi Xingyun was, he almost vomited blood at this moment. Jiang Luoli kept calling him Big Brother Xiaoyao and Big Brother Xiaoyao. It was like a curse that drove Yi Xingyun crazy. He wanted nothing more than to kill Jun Xiaoyao. He forced a stiff smile and turned to leave. Jiang Luoli didn't care. She only had Jun Xiaoyao in her heart. Don't worry, little girl. I think he'll come. Jiang Xingyi smiled and comforted her, although she didn't show it in her heart. In fact, she wanted to see Jun Xiaoyao a little. No, she wanted to see him very much. As time passed, almost all the immortal forces had arrived. However, no one noticed that there was a hooded figure sitting in the corner at the back. It was Xiao Chun. He stared coldly at the group of people from the Jun family. As the saying goes, love the house and its crow. Hatred was the same. If I, Xiao Chun, can rise to power in the future, I will uproot the Jun family and eliminate them completely. Xiao Chun swore to himself. At this moment, there was a lot of noise and exclamations in the surroundings. In the distance, a figure shrouded in divine light walked over. It's the Marquis Champion, many cultivators shouted. No wonder they paid so much attention to him. After all, the Marquis Champion was the eye of the storm. He was the most likely candidate to be Wu Mingyu as empress. Plus, he had agreed to fight with Jun Xiaoyao. All these things pushed the Marquis Champion to the forefront of the storm. The Marquis Champion now was different from the Marquis Champion in the ancient kingdom of Phoenix. That Marquis Champion was just a clone. This one was the real Marquis Champion. The real Marquis Champion was wearing the ferocious divine armor of Tianmong Horn and holding the sharp divine spear of Zhanmong. Vaguely, there was an endless, boundless sword intent spreading within his body. It was the coiling Emperor Life Sword. Is this the Marquis Champion of the Jin dynasty? His aura is indeed powerful. Yeah, seeing is believing. Although the Marquis Champion doesn't have a good reputation, He is really powerful. Seeing the real marquee champion, many of the geniuses of the eternal forces looked a little serious. The aura of the marquee champion was too powerful. Plus, he was wearing the divine armor that he had picked up by luck. Even the top geniuses of the eternal forces would be wary of him. In the corner, Xiao Chan saw the marquee champion, and his face was immediately covered with a layer of frost. Is this the scumbag who wanted to get Mingyue? He really can't be underestimated. Xiao Chen's heart was full of coldness. In the sky, Yang Pan's eyes fell on the Jun family. He didn't show up as expected. It seems that I overestimated Jun Xiaoyao. Yang Pan had a cold smile on his face. Jun Xiaoyao had stolen the fruits of his labor and robbed him of his opportunity. He had even destroyed his clone and the puppet of his saint. Yang Pan felt like killing Jun Xiaoyao right there and then. Being able to destroy Jun Xiaoyao's reputation in public was also a form of revenge. However, as soon as he finished speaking, an angry and delicate voice was heard. Why do you have to judge Brother Xiaoyao, you ugly black beetle? The person who spoke was Jiang Luoli. Her words stunned everyone present. Then, many people looked at the marquee champion. The marquee champion was wearing the black divine armor of heavenly light horn, and there were two black curved horns on his head. From afar, he did look a little like a black beetle. Many cultivators burst out laughing and covered their mouths with their hands. Their faces were red. Yang Pan's face darkened, and his expression became cold. Recommended reading. Load file, 2013. Chapter 108. However, when his gaze fell on Jiang Luoli, his gloomy expression softened slightly, and a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes. Yang Pan had a hobby of collecting beauties in his harem. Jiang Luoli was born sparkling and cute, petite and moving. Anyone would be stunned at first sight. In fact, he even had a faint feeling of wanting to bully her. Feeling Yang Pan's sinister gaze, Jiang Luoli felt goosebumps appear on her snow-white skin, and she felt disgusted. You big beetle, what are you looking at? Jiang Luoli revealed a look of disgust. Yang Pan didn't mind. Instead, he smiled and said, "The pearl of the Jiang family is indeed extraordinary." Desire began to rise in his heart. If it weren't for the fact that he was here to compete for the position of the emperor's son-in-law, Yang Pan would have wanted to subdue Jiang Luoli. As if sensing Yang Pan's intentions, Jiang Luoli's pretty eyes widened, and her fair face turned red with anger. Disgusting big beetle die. Jiang Luoli didn't care and directly attacked. She waved her small hand, and the spirit chi in the surrounding heaven and earth seemed to gather together, forming a vast spirit chi palm print that suppressed Yang Pan. As expected of the primordial spirit Dao body, she can activate the power of heaven and earth with just a wave of her hand. Many people exclaimed in admiration. Seeing this, Yang Pan's expression was very relaxed. He raised his hand, and the divine spear of light pierced through the sky, piercing toward the spirit chi palm print. The moment he attacked, Yang Pan's cultivation level was exposed. He was also at the perfected consolidation realm. The reason so many prodigies were stuck at this level wasn't because they couldn't break through. It was because in the next path integration realm, they needed to find suitable spirit seeds, immortal seeds, and so on. Different levels of spirit seeds and immortal seeds were crucial to their future cultivation speed and strength. Some rare immortal seeds, such as the world tree sapling, primordial purple vapor seed, and so on, could give prodigies a terrifying boost. Therefore, no prodigy would casually break through to the path integration realm. Boom! The spear light collided with the spiritual energy palm and directly pierced through it. Jiang Luoli's primordial spirit Dao body was not weak in combat, but she was best at cultivation. Yang Pan, on the other hand, was clad in divine armor, and his cultivation was also at the top. Therefore, it would not be easy for Jiang Luoli to deal with Yang Pan. Yang Pan's eyes flashed as he continued to attack. The divine spear of desolation in his hand slashed out terrifying pitch-black spear lights. Powerful move, demonic dance. The void seemed to be boiling as the spear radiance violently blasted towards Jiang Luoli. Yang Pan's heart gave birth to a wicked thought. Jiang Luoli was so cute. She should cry for a long time after being punched, right? Jiang Luoli's watery eyes also revealed a dignified expression. She had said that she would teach Yang Pan a lesson on behalf of Jun Xiaoyao. But now, it seemed that Yang Pan's strength was not just for show. That's too much. Jiang Xingyi frowned, just as she was about to attack. Suddenly, an incomparably vast and enormous golden palm fell from the sky and smashed down on Yang Pan. Who is it? Yang Pan's expression changed abruptly as his pupils shrank rapidly. A terrifying pressure poured down, and even the spear radiance he released was crushed. Yang Pan was caught off guard and could only use the heavenly horn divine armor to defend himself. At the same time, he held his spear horizontally to block. Boom! The palm print, which contained a vast amount of power, smashed Yang Pan into the ground. Large cracks spread across the ground around him. The entire bustling forbidden city seemed to have been frozen at this moment. Countless people's faces froze. The marquis champion, who was incomparably arrogant and had an invincible aura, was now smashed into the ground. This contrast was too great, causing many people to be unable to regain their senses for a long time. At this moment, a calm and indifferent voice slowly sounded. This is the so-called marquis champion? It's just SOSO. Hearing this voice, everyone's eyes suddenly looked towards the sky. A 9-headed lion that looked like it was cast in gold appeared with 2 figures on its back. The white-robed figure in front, bathed in celestial radiance, was aloof and peerless. The indifferent and playful voice came from his mouth. It's the Jun family son of God. He's finally here. The whole place was in an uproar. From the moment Yang Pan released the news of the battle, everyone was looking forward to how Jun Xiaoyao would respond. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not respond. This allowed some of the enemy forces to seize the opportunity and use it against Jun Xiaoyao. Now, Jun Xiaoyao had appeared. He was as strong as ever. The marquis champion, who was arrogant just now, was now covered in dust and dirt as he escaped from the crack in the ground. He didn't suffer any serious injuries, but his face was a little embarrassed. Jun Xiaoyao, how dare you sneak attack me? Yang Pan's face was terrifyingly cold, and he was incomparably ashamed and angry. If he was not caught off guard, he would not be in such a sorry state. Do you have to ask for the permission of the fly before you swat it? Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Yang Pan indifferently. His tone was full of contempt. This was not arrogance, but a natural invincibility. Hearing this, Yang Pan's face turned green. As the local emperor of the Panwu Jin dynasty, he had never been humiliated like this. On the other side, Jiang Luoli's little face was first stunned, then she cheered and ran faster than a rabbit. She flashed to Jun Xiaoyao's side and clung onto his body like an octopus. She was like an adorable pendant. Brother Xiaoyao, Luoli knew you would come. Jiang Luoli smiled until her starry eyes turned into crescents. Come down. Jun Xiaoyao was helpless. No, I haven't seen Brother Xiaoyao in 2 years, for months, 16 days, 6 hours, and half an hour. Jiang Luoli pouted, feeling a little wronged. Jun Xiaoyao was slightly embarrassed when he heard this. Why did he feel that Jiang Luoli had the potential to be sick? If you don't come down, how can I stand up for you? Jun Xiaoyao sighed. Oh, Brother Xiaoyao, you must crush that giant beetle. Jiang Luoli reluctantly let go of her hands and feet. Seeing Jiang Luoli crazily clinging onto him, many of the young elites around them were going crazy with jealousy. Between people, one really couldn't compare. It was infuriating. Yi Xingyun's face was extremely cold. If not for the fact that his personality had changed, he would have challenged Jun Xiaoyao again. Over at the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain, Feng Qingling's eyes narrowed slightly. So it really is him. Now, Feng Qingling was completely sure that the mysterious genius who had crushed her was Jun Xiaoyao. He is indeed very powerful. We can't underestimate him. Huang Xuani's face also became serious. Wang Gang, the arrogant young man from the Wang family in the northern region, sized up Jun Xiaoyao and shook his head slightly. He's not bad, but he can't be compared to Big Brother. In his eyes, the son of God of the Jun family was not as good as the young emperor of the Wang family. Xiao Chun, who was in the corner, could not help but burst with murderous intent the moment he saw Jun Xiaoyao. However, he endured it deeply. He knew that now was not the time. Only when he became the prince consort of the Panwu Jin dynasty would he be qualified to face Jun Xiaoyao. Recommended reading. Load file, 2013. Chapter 109. The entire Forbidden City was in an uproar because of Jun Xiaoyao's arrival. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the livid Yang Pan and said calmly, "I didn't accept the challenge because I don't think it's necessary. Killing you is no more troublesome than swatting a fly." Jun Xiaoyao, stop bragging. Do you think you're invincible just because you destroyed one of my avatars? Yang Pan said coldly. He believed that the reason why Jun Xiaoyao was so confident was because Jun Xiaoyao had killed his clone with ease. Heh. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled and didn't say anything. Yang Pan didn't know what he was capable of. Yang Pan's eyes were cold. With his irritable personality, he almost couldn't help but start a fight. But when he thought about how he still had to compete for the position of the emperor's son-in-law, Yang Pan suppressed his anger for the time being. He would then challenge Jun Xiaoyao to a duel at the top of the Forbidden City after he became the emperor's son-in-law. Jun Xiaoyao obviously knew what Yang Pan was thinking. He didn't care if they fought sooner or later. After all, the result wouldn't change. Seeing the two of them temporarily stop fighting, the surrounding cultivators were still sighing. Jun Xiaoyao's appearance was too powerful. He directly destroyed the invincible spirit of the marquee champion. However, they were also very curious. Would Jun Xiaoyao participate in the competition for the position of the emperor's son-in-law? Jun Xiaoyao walked over to the Jun family side. Son of God, Jun Zhangjian, and the others all cupped their hands, their eyes filled with joy. Recently, they had been annoyed by those rumors. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao appeared, all the smearing rumors were dispelled. Xiaoyao, I knew you wouldn't avoid the challenge. Jiang Xingyi walked over and said with a smile. Sister Xingyi. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. Jiang Luoli looked at the two of them and rolled her big eyes. She didn't think much of it. Lord Son of God, we meet again. Last time, you played the zither all night. It's still fresh in my mind. It's unforgettable. At this moment, another beautiful woman walked over. It was the heavenly Qin maiden. There was a hint of nostalgia in her tone, and there was a faint longing in her eyes. After learning about Jun Xiaoyao's true identity, she felt flattered. However, the heavenly Qin maiden did not know that Jun Xiaoyao had only used her once. What? Talk about love all night? When Jiang Luoli heard this, she felt as if she had been struck by lightning. Her entire body seemed to have been petrified. I was the one who did it first. Jiang Luoli pursed her lips, jealousy filling her. Miss Jiang, you've misunderstood. We're playing the zither, not talking about love, the heavenly Qin maiden explained. Jiang Luoli was still a little annoyed. It was going to be an entire night. Who knew what kind of inappropriate things would happen? You silly girl, what are you thinking? Jun Xiaoyao knocked Jiang Luoli's little head. Even Jun Zhangjian had an envious look on his face as he looked at Jun Xiaoyao, who was caught in a sea of beauties, and said, If only I had 1/10 of the divine child's charm. Are you thinking about eating peaches? Jun Xuehuang attacked. At this moment, a majestic voice came from the depths of the palace. A golden arch bridge extended from the distance, and a group of people slowly walked over. The leader was a middle-aged man in an imperial robe. He had a dignified face, and he had the aura of someone who ruled the world. This man was the Panwu Jin dynasty's emperor, Panwu Divine Lord. Behind him was a group of princes and princesses. Wu Mingwei and the third prince were among them. The third prince noticed Jun Xiaoyao right away. His heart turned cold all of a sudden and sank to the bottom. It's over. It's really him, the son of God of the Jun family. The third prince had a vague feeling that something like this would happen. Unexpectedly, it had come true. He had bribed an assassin from the Hades heaven to assassinate the son of God of the Jun family. If this was exposed, the third prince didn't dare to imagine what would happen. It's okay. Stay calm. That assassin from the Hades heaven won't expose my identity, even if he dies, the third prince thought to himself. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's gaze fell on the third prince. The third prince's body stiffened. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly and nodded slightly. Seeing this, the third prince forced a smile on his face. Inwardly, he breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that Jun Xiaoyao doesn't know that I'm the one behind this, the third prince thought to himself. Taking a step back, even if Jun Xiaoyao guessed that it was him, it couldn't be established without evidence. In the worst-case scenario, the third prince would refuse to admit it and play dumb. Unfortunately, the third prince didn't know about Jun Xiaoyao's smile. It was the smile of a demon. Wu Mingyue also saw Jun Xiaoyao, and her expression instantly became unnatural. He's here. Wu Mingyue sighed and felt a little nervous, which was rare. After all, her life was still in the hands of Jun Xiaoyao. Is that the eldest princess of the Jin dynasty? This is the first time I've seen her. She's indeed stunning. Yeah, I finally understand why so many geniuses are fighting for the title of the prince consort. Not only can they soar to the sky, but they can also marry such a beauty. Many cultivators looked at Wu Mingyue with amazement in their eyes. Wu Mingyue, who was wearing a bright red dress, was charming and beautiful. Mingyue Xiaochun, who was sitting in the corner, felt a surge of emotions. There was a hint of excitement and longing on his face. Wu Mingyue was his woman, and he wouldn't give her to anyone else today. Thank you, everyone, for coming to this banquet. Today is also the day that my daughter, Mingyue, chooses her prince consort. Only the most outstanding geniuses can become the prince consort of the Pan Wu Jin dynasty. God Lord Pan Wu's voice echoed in all directions. Now let the banquet begin. All the young geniuses can also compete and learn from each other. As soon as God Lord Pan Wu finished speaking, the banquet officially began. Haha, then I'll be the first to embarrass myself. This one has admired Princess Mingyue for a long time. A handsome young man with a long sword on his back jumped onto a high platform that had been prepared in advance and said with a smile, "He's a true disciple of the Tianan sword faction, a rather powerful genius," some cultivators said. The Tianan sword faction was also a top-tier sword Dao faction. But Wu Mingyue didn't even look at this genius. A cold laugh rang out. It was Yang Pan. He thrust out his spear, the terrifying spear light causing the fabric of space to ripple. The true disciple of the Tianan sword faction grimaced, unsheathing the sword on his back as he tried to block. But this one move caused the true disciple to vomit blood and fly backward, a bloody hole appearing in his shoulder. What was even more serious was that all the bones in that personal disciple's body had been shattered. The elders of the Tianan sword faction stepped forward to investigate, their expressions extremely unsightly. But due to Yang Pan's status and the presence of God, Lord Pan Wu, they didn't dare to voice their anger. This marquis wants the position of prince consort. If any blind fool wants to fight over it, feel free to come up and fight. Yang Pan stood on the high platform, wearing the Skylight Horn divine armor and wielding the divine spear of war radiance. Boom! Just as Yang Pan finished speaking, a majestic aura abruptly surged out from a banquet behind them. At the same time, a cold shout filled with determination rang out. Only I, Xiaochun, can become Mingyue's prince consort. As for you, Yang Pan, scram as far away as you can. Chapter 110. His terrifying aura erupted like a volcano. Xiaochun stood up and took off his hood, revealing a face full of determination and determination. He had been cultivating for a long time just for this day. If he wanted to deal with Jun Xiaoyao, he had to become the son-in-law of the Jin dynasty. Who is that? I've never seen him before. He can't be a genius from some major force, can he? Damn, that looks like Xiaochun, the eldest prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon. The eldest prince of the ancient kingdom of Dragon? Wasn't the ancient kingdom of Dragon destroyed? Yeah, and this Xiaochun's strength doesn't seem to be particularly outstanding, does it? Many surprised and doubtful gazes came from all directions. Jun Xiaoyao looked over indifferently. He was not surprised at all. He would be surprised if Xiaochun did not appear. When Jun Xiaoyao looked over, Xiao Chun also looked at Jun Xiaoyao. The hatred in his eyes was so deep that even the water of the four seas could not wash it away. However, Xiao Chun did not lose his mind. What he needed to do now was not to deal with Jun Xiaoyao, but to deal with Yang Pan. Where did this nobody come from? How dare he challenge me? Yang Pan raised his eyebrows. He was the marquee champion of the Jin dynasty. Since when did he dare to provoke a nobody? Xiao Chun. Wu Mingyue saw Xiao Chun, and her delicate body trembled slightly. Although she did not want Xiao Chun to come, she was still somewhat touched when she saw him appear. Mingyue, do you know that person? Lord Pan Wu asked when he saw Wu Mingyue's strange expression. Yes, a friend, Wu Mingyue said hesitantly. She knew that Lord Pan Wu did not want Xiao Chun to become the son-in-law. Xiao Chun leaped into the air and landed on the platform, facing Yang Pan. Yang Pan, you licentious and heartless scum. Why do you have to be the son-in-law of Mingyue? Xiao Chun's tone was as cold as frost. If I am not worthy, then you are. Yang Pan sneered. Today I, Xiao Chun, will defeat you in front of countless forces. As soon as Xiao Chun finished speaking, he let out a roar and unleashed the full power of the consolidation realm. Tens of thousands of densely packed azure dragon light patterns circled around his body. At that moment, Xiao Chun looked like the azure dragon god of war. Zulong's cultivation method? Yang Pan's expression turned serious. Xiao Chun's current level was no longer weaker than his. Jun Xiaoyao looked at him and said with a deep look in his eyes, sure enough, Xiao Chun still has secrets behind him. It seems that we'll have to investigate when the time comes. Even if you're a dragon, this marquis will slay a dragon today. Yang Pan made his move. The divine spear of death shook the void. Vigorous mana burst out, as if a corner of the sky was tilting down. Azure Dragon Claw. Xiao Chun reached out with one hand. Green light gathered and formed a green dragon claw that was dozens of feet long, grabbing at the marquee champion. The two people's moves collided, causing huge waves to rise in all directions. Seeing this, God Lord Pan Wu waved his hand, turning the void into a cage that contained the shockwaves of their battle. How did this Xiao Chun become so strong? He can actually compete with a marquee champion? Yeah, I thought he would be defeated in a few moves. Many people were surprised. Jun Xiaoyao was very calm. He watched the battle between Xiao Chun and Yang Pan, sitting on the mountain and watching the tigers fight. It was as if he was watching two leeks squashing each other. Damn it, this kid. Yang Pan's eyes burned with anger. The fact that he was slapped into the ground by Jun Xiaoyao earlier had already embarrassed him greatly. And now, a random fish that had popped out was so difficult to deal with. Nirvana Spear Art. Yang Pan activated his ultimate move and poured his mana into the divine spear of death. Wisps of black spear light with the aura of Nirvana burst out. Wherever they passed, even the void seemed to be annihilated. Immovable Azure Dragon Bell. Xiao Chun used a defensive technique. A giant bell with an azure dragon coiled around it protected his body. Then he punched out again. Thousands of azure dragon patterns burst out at the same time with vast power. Many cultivators were shocked as they watched the battle between the two. They weren't surprised that the champion was strong. But wasn't Xiao Chun a little too strong? Xiao Chun. Wu Mingyue's eyes showed a trace of emotion. She knew that Xiao Chun had only come this far because of her. The ripples in the field were very shocking. The battle between the two was white-hot. In the end, Xiao Chun's body was covered in blood. A trace of blood also appeared at the corner of Yang Pan's mouth. This kid, Yang Pan, was a little impatient. He directly activated the coiling Emperor Life sword in his body. A shocking sword intent soared into the sky. An ancient and weathered sword shadow flickered behind Yang Pan. He hadn't completely activated the coiling Emperor Life sword, but just a sword shadow was enough to shock everyone. Coiling Emperor Sword. Divine Lord Pan Wu's eyes flashed. Wasn't he supporting Yang Pan so that he could find the other two swords in the future? To put it bluntly, it was also a kind of use. And in order to make Yang Pan feel at ease, Divine Lord Pan Wu could only marry Wu Mingyue to him. In fact, this was more or less decided, because Divine Lord Pan Wu knew that Yang Pan, who had the coiling Emperor Life Sword, was in an invincible position. No one could defeat Yang Pan with the coiling Emperor Life Sword, not even the top geniuses of the imperishable orthodoxies. Although Xiao Qin's performance had exceeded Divine Lord Pan Wu's expectations, but the result wouldn't change. Sure enough, after Yang Pan activated the coiling Emperor Life Sword's power, Master Blue Dragon's voice sounded in Xiao Qin's mind. Xiao Qin, this is bad. With your current strength, you can't block the coiling Emperor Life Sword. Retreat for now. Master Blue Dragon wanted to help Xiao Qin, but he was powerless. If he intervened, it would be tantamount to interfering in the battle. Divine Lord Pan Wu definitely wouldn't sit idly by. They were both cheats, but Master Blue Dragon clearly wasn't as convenient as the coiling Emperor Life Sword. If he made a move, he would be noticed by the experts. How can I retreat? If I retreat, Mingyue will be taken by him. Xiao Qin's eyes bulged as he erupted with his last bit of willpower. Azure Dragon in the sky. Tens of thousands of Azure Dragon runes rose from Xiao Qin's body, condensing into a huge Azure Dragon of light that charged at Yang Pan. Yang Pan also activated the coiling Emperor Life Sword's power. The sword light converged at the tip of the sword, then slashed down. A bit of sword light seemed to be able to destroy everything in the world. Rumble. The Azure Dragon of Light was directly split in two by the sword light. Xiao Qin also spat out a large mouthful of blood and flew backward. Xiao Qin, Wu Mingyue's delicate face turned pale. Haha, you're just an ant. How dare you overturn the heavens? Mingyue, you're mine. No one can take you away from me. Yang Pan laughed arrogantly. You? Wu Mingyue's delicate face turned pale. Looking at Yang Pan, she suddenly felt that even Jun Xiaoyao, as the prince consort, would be better than Yang Pan. What am I thinking? That Jun Xiaoyao is also a despicable guy. Wu Mingyue reacted, feeling that this idea was ridiculous. She couldn't possibly like Jun Xiaoyao. Absolutely not. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 111. Xiao Qin stood up in the cracked pit. His body was trembling, and his chin was covered in blood. His eyes were bloodshot. He couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that he had lost again. He had lost to Jun Xiaoyao again and again. Now, he couldn't even beat the marquee champion. Even someone as determined as Xiao Qin felt like his Dao heart was about to crumble. To be honest, Xiao Qin was not weak. If Yang Pan didn't have the Pan Huang Life Sword, it would be hard to tell who would win. Unfortunately, with the Pan Huang Life Sword, Yang Pan was undefeatable. This was the confidence of the Pan Wu Divine Lord. In the end, the position of the Emperor's son-in-law belonged to Yang Pan. At this moment, many of the cultivators around were sighing. Naturally, they could tell that Xiao Qin and Wu Mingyue were somehow related. It was just like what the storytellers had described, where a commoner boy turned the tables and married a princess. However, reality was reality. It couldn't be as perfect as the stories and the legends. In the end, Xiao Qin couldn't succeed. Haha, I'll ask, who else? Yang Pan said proudly. The sky prides of the various superpowers all had fearful looks on their faces. Yi Xingyun of the Yi family of the clan of the ancients, Wang Gang of the Wang family of the northern land, and Huang Xuani of the Wan Huang Spirit Mountain were all here to watch the ceremony, not to compete for the position of the emperor's son-in-law. So they didn't make a move. Seeing that no one was making a sound, Yang Pan inexplicably felt a sense of superiority. It was so lonely to be invincible. He turned his head and looked at the pale Wu Mingyue. His lips curled into a smile. Mingyue, you are mine in the end. Wu Mingyue's expression was ugly. She clenched her fists. She felt extreme resentment towards Yang Pan. He had a bad personality and an average appearance. Even though Wu Mingyue hated Jun Xiaoyao, she had to admit that Jun Xiaoyao was indeed very good-looking. At least looking at him every day didn't make her feel bored. Instead, it was a supreme pleasure. However, if she had to face Yang Pan every day, she would be so disgusted that she wanted to vomit. Just as Yang Pan was feeling smug and thought that the outcome was set, A lazy voice was heard. You were just slapped into the ground by this son of God, and now you're jumping again? Yang Pan raised his eyebrows and looked over. Jun Xiaoyao stood there calmly with one hand behind his back. There was a kind of condescending indifference on his face. That was right. It was like a god looking down on mortals. Jun Xiaoyao had stepped forward. Whoosh! This scene caused an uproar. Is the son of God of the Jun family finally going to make his move? Could it be that he also wants to fight for the position of Prince Consort? Interesting. I wonder if the son of God of the Jun family will be able to suppress the Marquis champion? It will probably be a little difficult. After all, the Marquis champion has the Pan Huang life sword. He won't be that easy to deal with. The geniuses and female cultivators from the various factions felt their hearts shatter. Big Brother Xiaoyao. Jiang Luoli covered her mouth in disbelief. Could it be that Jun Xiaoyao really wanted to marry the eldest princess of the Wu Jin dynasty? Although Jiang Xingyi didn't say anything, her clear eyes were slightly stunned. She was a little surprised. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Naturally, he wouldn't fight for the position of Prince Consort. No matter who the woman in the world was, as long as he wanted, he could get her. Why would he need to fight for her? Furthermore, was there even a single woman in the world that was worth Jun Xiaoyao fighting over? At least for now, he hadn't met anyone. Moreover, Wu Mingyue was originally his slave. She was Jun Xiaoyao's private property. Did Yang Pan ask for his permission to marry Wu Mingyue? Jun Xiaoyao, since you took the initiative to step forward, let's fight fair and square. What undefeatable legend of the son of God of the Jun family? You're nothing in front of me. Yang Pan's tone was arrogant and unruly. He believed that the reason he was in such a sorry state before was because of Jun Xiaoyao's sneak attack. If they fought fair and square, he wouldn't lose. Hearing this, Jun Xiaoyao shook his head faintly. What, you don't dare? Yang Pan raised his eyebrows. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled and stomped his feet on the ground, causing the surroundings to tremble. His figure soared high into the sky and landed on the peak of the Forbidden City. He looked down on all living beings from above. Yang Pan, you want to challenge the son of God by yourself? Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. What do you mean by that? Yang Pan's face darkened. Looking at the peerlessly handsome Jun Xiaoyao, standing on the peak of the Forbidden City with his white robe fluttering in the wind, he felt an inexplicable displeasure in his heart. 2F** King coquettish. Yang Pan, I'm not targeting you. I'm saying that those who are vainly trying to make an enemy out of me are all trash. As soon as he finished speaking, the entire place fell silent. These words were not only directed at Yang Pan alone. Xiao Qin's face darkened. A cold glint flashed across Yi Xingyun's eyes. Huang Xuani and Feng Qingling's faces darkened as well. Wang Gang of the Wang family from the northern region was also somewhat displeased. He felt that Jun Xiaoyao was too arrogant. Jun Xiaoyao, Yang Pan was furious. Jun Xiaoyao was obviously looking down on him and unwilling to fight him alone. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Xiao Chun and said, Xiao Chun, I, the son of God, know that you want to kill me. Now, I'll give you the chance. He turned to look at Yi Xingyun. Yi Xingyun, you must be very upset that I, the son of God, defeated you at the 10-years-old banquet. This time, I'll give you a chance. In Wanwang Spirit Mountain, if you want to fight, I, the son of God, will take care of you. In short, today, above the Imperial City, on the peak of the Forbidden City, I, the son of God, will fight all of you. Jun Xiaoyao's voice was cold. He stood with his hands behind his back. His white robe and hair fluttered. Standing on the peak of the Forbidden City, he looked like a god. Boom! His words were like a huge rock rolling into the ocean, stirring up huge waves. Throughout the Forbidden City, countless forces were dumbfounded. They knew that Jun Xiaoyao was very strong and invincible. But this time, he was not fighting one person alone. He was challenging all of them. Not to mention the others, Yang Pan alone was not someone that ordinary people could deal with. And Xiao Chun, although he had lost, his strength was obvious to all. Yi Xingyun of the Yi family, who had the kingly body of stars, was also very strong. Huang Xuani and Feng Qingling of Wanwang Spirit Mountain were the top figures of the younger generation. It could be said that any one of these people would be able to dominate an entire region and dominate the world. But now, Jun Xiaoyao was going to challenge all of them alone. Everyone's eyes popped out of their sockets. Jun Xiaoyao, you're too arrogant. Yang Pan could not take it anymore. He directly attacked. The long spear in his hand pierced through the air and stabbed at Jun Xiaoyao. He and Jun Xiaoyao had agreed to fight on the peak of the Forbidden City. How could he endure such humiliation? Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. He stretched out his right hand, and the 20 immortal bones of the great all-embracing heaven released a divine light. Immortal clouds lingered and divine light surged. It was like the hand of an ancient god that could destroy a planet with a single palm strike. Rumble. The palm strike fell. It was as if a corner of the sky had collapsed and fell. Bang! Yang Pan was directly suppressed and smashed into the ground with a loud bang. For a moment, everyone was dead silent. Inside the Forbidden City, it was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. Chapter 112. Everyone's eyes widened. They were at a loss for words. Earlier, Yang Pan was smashed into the ground because he was caught off guard. But what about now? Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, had Yang Pan pinned to the ground with a single palm strike. What was this? Hiss! The sound of people gasping could be heard everywhere. Everyone looked at Jun Xiaoyao with shock in their eyes. Why do I feel that the son of God of the Jun family's move just now was like an immortal's? Yeah, this is too scary. The son of God of the Jun family is only at the consolidation stage, but he gave off the feeling of an immortal. Jun Xiaoyao had not made a move yet, but when he made a move, it was shocking. How is this possible? How can he be so strong? Xiao Chen's face was blank. He thought that his current strength was gradually catching up to Jun Xiaoyao, but now it seemed that the gap between them was still too big. He was defeated by the champion marquis, but now the champion marquis was pushed into the ground by Jun Xiaoyao. That contrast further highlighted the gap between him and Jun Xiaoyao, which was something that could never be bridged. This guy. Yi Xingyun's expression also became much more serious. Even though he had awakened some of his memories and his cultivation had begun to surge. But when he saw Jun Xiaoyao make a move, he still felt a chill run down his spine. The other geniuses also had the same thought. In the stands, Wu Mingwei saw this scene. She did not know what to feel. There were also rejoicings and surprises. At least, if Jun Xiaoyao could defeat Yang Pan, she would not have to marry Yang Pan anymore. But wouldn't that mean that she would have to marry Jun Xiaoyao? Wu Mingwei bit her lip. Her thoughts were running wild. If Jun Xiaoyao really wanted to marry her, what should she do? However, on second thought, he figured that given Jun Xiaoyao's cold and aloof personality, he probably wouldn't have taken a liking to him. Wu Mingyue's face darkened when she thought of this. In Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, she was just a pawn to be used. In the battle, Yang Pan got up from the ground, his face unprecedentedly cold. He knew that if he did not use the power of the Pan Huang life sword, it would be impossible for him to deal with Jun Xiaoyao. At this time, Huang Xuanyi and Feng Qingling dashed out and attacked Jun Xiaoyao. The purpose of their visit was to find out more about Jun Xiaoyao in the first place. Jun Xiaoyao, today is the day I take my revenge for what happened in the immortal Jade Tower. Feng Qingling raised her hand, and her vigorous magic power shot out like a waterfall. Huang Xuanyi made his move as well. Phoenix talismans appeared around him and shot toward Jun Xiaoyao like red stars. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care. He controlled the combatant formula with one hand. Countless divine weapons appeared around him, as if they had turned into a golden torrent, sweeping towards the two. Rumble. It was as if big stars were exploding one after another. With Jun Xiaoyao's current strength, any technique he used was extremely powerful. Feng Qingling was hit by the impact. She spat out a mouthful of blood, and her delicate body flew backward. She couldn't even take one hit from Jun Xiaoyao. Huang Xuanyi was fine. He was only pushed back. However, his arms were trembling slightly, and there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. Jun Xiaoyao's strength was far beyond his expectations. At this time, Yi Xingyun's eyes flashed, and he made his move. He pushed his hand forward, and a star appeared. It crushed the void with a loud rumble, and the energy waves were shocking. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows slightly. Yi Xingyin gave him a feeling that something was wrong. It was not just an increase in strength, but a subtle change. Jun Xiaoyao also noticed that Yi Xingyun's eyes were extremely deep, and there was a hint of coldness and probing. He was far from the arrogant young man he used to be. Could it be? Jun Xiaoyao had a guess in his mind. He didn't stay idle. He formed the man-ruler seal with one hand, and the majestic figure of the emperor appeared, suppressing heaven and earth with one seal. Yi Xingyun's attack was instantly neutralized, and he was sent flying backward. The blood in his chest churned violently. How did Jun Xiaoyao's strength increase so quickly? Yi Xingyun's eyes were cold. He thought that his cultivation speed was already heaven-defying after he regained his memories. He didn't expect that Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation speed was even faster than his. Could it be that even my predecessor was no match for Jun Xiaoyao? Yi Xingyun suddenly thought. He shook his head, thinking that it was impossible. In his memory, the figure with the sun, the moon, and the stars was definitely the most powerful person in the world. How could Jun Xiaoyao compare to him? The son of God of the Jun family? Let me Wang Gang take him on. Suddenly, Wang Gang of the Wang family of the northern region also made his move. He formed a fist seal with his hand, and a golden light burst out. His entire arm seemed to be dyed golden and branded with many runes. It's the Wang family's unique skill, the Vajra Pagoda. Rumor has it that the Wang family got it from the Little Western Paradise. Some people were surprised. This was an extremely powerful technique. Once it was unleashed, it could shatter mountains and rivers. There was nothing it could not destroy. The Wang family of the northern region? Jun Xiaoyao murmured. The most famous member of the Wang family of the northern region was the young emperor of the Wang family, who had the potential to become a great emperor. In Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, that man was nothing more than a juicy leek. The young emperor of the Wang family's luck was even more terrifying than Yang Pan's. Wang Gang was Wang Teng's younger brother. He was also very powerful. Unfortunately, he ran into Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao didn't even bother to use any martial arts. All he did was throw out a punch. The physical strength of the sacred body of the ancients was enough to crush him. Crack! Their fists collided. Wang Gang's expression changed. He only felt an irresistible and terrifying rebounding force coming from the tip of his fist. His Vajra Pagoda was broken right away. The bones in his entire arm seemed to have been broken, and he was sent flying. Seeing Wang Gang being sent flying with a single strike, many people were shocked again. Could it be that none of the geniuses present were able to take on Jun Xiaoyao? Jun Xiaoyao, I'll make you pay for killing my father and destroying my country 1,000 times over. Xiaoqin couldn't help but make his move. He immediately turned into a half-dragon person and activated the spell of dragon transformation in blue heaven to the extreme. The dragon wings on his back extended, and his body was covered with scales. His hands turned into ferocious and sharp dragon claws. He was so fast that he turned into a cyan shadow and tore at Jun Xiaoyao. Xiaoqin, you've been jumping around for a long time. Are you tired of living? Jun Xiaoyao looked indifferent. He activated his dragon aura and threw a punch. His monstrous power turned into a dragon claw. It was Zulong's ultimate skill, the severing dragon hand. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao's attack was enhanced with a force of 1 billion pounds. The surging and vast divine power shook the void. The sound of wind being torn was sharp and ear-piercing. PFFDT. That attack almost shattered half of Xiaoqin's body. Blood splattered in the air. Jun Xiaoyao looked indifferent. He stepped out and tore the dragon wings on Xiaoqin's back. Arg! Xiaoqin screamed and spat out blood. His body turned into a parabola and fell heavily to the ground. He was defeated by the marquee champion before, and now he was severely injured by Jun Xiaoyao. Xiaoqin was finally defeated. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 113. The entire Forbidden City fell into silence. Many people felt a chill run down their spines as they watched Xiaoqin fall to the ground. Xiao Qin's strength was obvious to all, but now he was defeated so easily. He had fought with Yang Pan for a long time. From this, it was clear that Jun Xiaoyao's strength was not something that Yang Pan could compare to. Damn it! Yang Pan's expression was fierce. He thrust his spear forward and attacked again. Huang Xuanyi also attacked. Feng Qingling was severely injured and could no longer attack. Fear was seen in the depths of her eyes. It was as if a shadow had been cast over her, and she no longer dared to face Jun Xiaoyao. Yi Xingyun and Wang Gang also made their moves. Now, Yang Pan, Huang Xuanyi, Yi Xingyun, and Wang Gang, for geniuses, surrounded Jun Xiaoyao at the same time. It was extremely shocking. One should know that all young geniuses were proud and arrogant. But now, facing Jun Xiaoyao, who was as unshakable as a mountain, they had no choice but to attack together. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao stood at the top of the Forbidden City. He looked like a god overlooking the mortal world. Yang Pan and the other three geniuses were like mortals challenging a god. It was as if four warriors were fighting a big boss together. Jun Xiaoyao was the final boss. Come, I, the son of God, grant you a chance to struggle. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were indifferent. Yang Pan poured all of his power into the divine spear of death. Thousands of spear shadows pierced out at the same time. Huang Xuanyi pointed at his forehead. Monstrous red flames swept out like a torrent. It's the heavenly fire of the phoenix from the Thousand Phoenix Spirit Mountain. It said that this fire can burn everything. Many people were terrified. Yi Xingyun rotated his hands. It was as if there were countless stars revolving around his hands, forming a wheel. This was the martial arts abhijna that he had awakened from his memory, the fallen star wheel. As soon as the wheel appeared, it swept across the sky like countless rolling stars. Wang Gang also attacked. His fist light lit up the sky, and waves of energy rippled out. This was one of the Wang clan's ultimate skills, the Shockwave King Fist. The four great geniuses all unleashed their strongest moves. It could be said that if it were anyone else standing in Jun Xiaoyao's position, they would be terrified, despairing, and powerless. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, looked extremely calm. Perhaps because he was used to being invincible, Jun Xiaoyao didn't know what fear was. Drawing on the strength of the hell-crushing god mammoth, he began to glow with golden light as he transformed into a golden god mammoth. The divine elephant that was condensed was incomparably real and lifelike, filling up heaven and earth. Just a glance at that might was enough to frighten people out of their wits. What a powerful aura! Where did the divine child of the Jun family learn this technique? The cultivators were all shocked by what they had just witnessed. Countless people were watching to see what would happen when Jun Xiaoyao fought the four great geniuses alone. Strength can break all techniques. In this world, there is nothing that absolute strength cannot break. Jun Xiaoyao pressed down with his right hand, adding the power of the 20-origin immortal bones to his body. Combined with the strength of the hell-crushing god Mammoth's 1 billion gene of god force. This was simply incredible. Rumble. The sky trembled, and the heavens were turned upside down. It was as if the entire space was about to be crushed by Jun Xiaoyao. Bang! A storm appeared in the void, seemingly incapable of withstanding Jun Xiaoyao's monstrous god force. Boom! A massive explosion resounded throughout the Jin dynasty's imperial capital. At this moment, everyone in the imperial capital looked up at the sky and saw a scene that they would never forget. At the center of the collision, it was like 100 nuclear bombs had exploded. From a distance, it was like an eye had opened in the sky. This collision left even God Lord Pan Wu and the other experts flabbergasted. God Lord Pan Wu immediately took action to restrain the terrifying ripples. Even so, the spatial cage he had released was still trembling. It was hard to imagine that this was a move unleashed by a Unity Realm prodigy. In this extreme collision, 4 people coughed up blood. Yang Pan, Huang Xuanyi, Yi Xingyun, and Wang Gang all coughed up blood. Their bones were shattered, their bodies were riddled with wounds, and their auras were greatly weakened. How is this possible? Huang Xuanyi was shocked. Yi Xingyun's mind was blank, and he could not come back to his senses. Wang Gang's eyes were filled with shock. Not even his brother, Wang Tong, the young master of the Wang clan, could compare to this kind of power. Of course, the most shocked was Yang Pan. He was arrogant and unruly, and he had even spread the news that he would fight Jun Xiaoyao on the summit of the Forbidden City. But now, even if all four of them fought together, they would still be crushed by Jun Xiaoyao, let alone him. The contrast was too great. If this news got out, Yang Pan would become the laughingstock of the world. No, how can I lose? Impossible. Yang Pan's expression was ferocious. His nature was that of a selfish and arrogant commoner. It was only because of a moment of luck that he was able to ascend to the position of marquee champion. Now that he had been defeated, he was naturally angry. He frantically activated the power of the coiling Emperor Life sword in his body. An aura of life spread out, causing his injuries to quickly heal and return to peak condition. Is that the power of the coiling Emperor Life sword? Many people were surprised. Divine Lord Pan Wu murmured, "As long as the coiling Emperor Life sword exists, Yang Pan's vitality will not be extinguished, so he is naturally in an invincible position." This was also why Divine Lord Pan Wu was confident in Yang Pan. At this moment, Yi Xingyun, Huang Xuanyi, and Wang Gang all retreated from the battlefield. They knew that the current Jun Xiaoyao was not someone they could defeat. Jun Xiaoyao, don't be so smug. I'll let you have a taste of the power of the coiling Emperor Life sword. Under Yang Pan's control, an ancient sword with an ancient aura slowly emerged from his body. This was not just a sword shadow, but the real coiling Emperor Life sword. The sword depicted mountains, rivers, billions of living beings, and scenes of ancient ancestors worshipping. As soon as the ancient sword appeared, a vast, majestic aura spread out, as if great Emperor Pan Wu had revealed a trace of his majesty. Although the coiling Emperor Life sword was only 1/3 of the Emperor weapon coiling Emperor sword, its power was not something an ordinary ancient sacred weapon could compare to. It was almost close to a quasi-Emperor weapon. Of course, with Yang Pan's strength, he was unable to fully activate the power of the coiling Emperor Life sword. Rather than activating, it was more appropriate to call it borrowing. You're just relying on a sword. How can you say it so confidently? Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. True strength came from one's own strength, not from external objects. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao had always paid great attention to the improvement of his own strength and the cultivation of his physical body. He rarely relied on external objects. Could the Jun family not have a quasi-emperor weapon? Of course they could, as long as Jun Xiaoyao wanted it. The Jun family would even lend him a true supreme emperor weapon, let alone a quasi-emperor weapon. But was it useful? If he lost his weapon, he would immediately be beaten back to his original state. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao was very disdainful when he saw Yang Pan borrowing the power of the coiling Emperor Life sword. "Let me hit you to wake you up," Jun Xiaoyao muttered as his chest glowed. Supreme Bone, activate. Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 114. Borrowing the power of the coiling Emperor Life sword. Yang Pan tapped the tip of his sword and unleashed a resplendent sword light. This sword seemed to be able to slice through the world. As for Jun Xiaoyao, he activated the power of the Supreme Bone. A blazing divine light burst out from his chest, as if the heavens had sent down a divine tribulation. The two ultimate moves clashed, causing wind and thunder to tremble and the world to tremble. A vast ripple of magic power swept out in all directions. If God Lord Pan Wu hadn't used space to restrain this ripple, the surrounding young geniuses would have definitely been injured or killed. In this terrifying collision, Yang Pan fell from the sky. Like a bird with broken wings, he plummeted from the sky, blood staining the armor on his chest. Even with the protection of the Skylight Horn Divine armor, he still couldn't resist the shock waves. Yang Pan's gaze was fixed on the center of the collision. He wanted to know Jun Xiaoyao's condition. However, when the light dissipated, the ripples calmed down. Jun Xiaoyao, who was dressed in white and looked like a transcendent being, was still standing where he was. This, Yang Pan's expression instantly froze. It was as if he had seen the most inconceivable thing in the world. He had even taken out the coiling Emperor Life Sword, yet he couldn't injure Jun Xiaoyao at all? At this moment, Yang Pan began to wonder if the coiling Emperor Life Sword he had taken out was fake. That's right. If you could completely unleash the power of the coiling Emperor Life Sword, you might really be able to threaten me a little. Unfortunately, Jun Xiaoyao shook his head. Back in the Origin Sky Treasury, even the Supreme Demon Corpse couldn't injure him much. Even if Yang Pan took out the coiling Emperor Life Sword, what use would it be? This is impossible. Yang Pan was somewhat dazed. Wasn't the coiling Emperor Life Sword his greatest trump card? But now, Yang Pan's Dao heart was starting to become unstable. Are you still dazed in the middle of a battle? Jun Xiaoyao extended a pair of demonic wings behind his back. His body moved as if he was streaking through the air, bringing his hand down on Yang Pan. Yang Pan came back to his senses and hastily blocked. Boom, boom, boom. After a few consecutive moves, the Marquis champion vomited blood continuously. Even with the protection of the Skylight Horn Divine Armor, it was useless. Jun Xiaoyao unleashed the Immortal Slayer Sword art once again. A vast and resplendent sword ray slashed at Yang Pan. Yang Pan was scared out of his wits. He hurriedly used the Pan Huang Life Spirit Sword to defend himself. Pucci! Yang Pan's Heavenly Light Horn Divine Armor was cut open by the sword light. A sword wound that was so deep that bone could be seen extended from his chest to his abdomen. If not for the Pan Huang Life Spirit Sword helping him recover, Yang Pan would have died. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao descended from the sky and stepped on Yang Pan's face. After dancing for so long, are you awake now? Jun Xiaoyao asked faintly. You? Yang Pan struggled, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not turn over. Jun Xiaoyao's own divine power almost crushed his head. Shame, resentment, rage, powerlessness, all sorts of emotions churned in Yang Pan's heart. He was the Marquis champion, second only to one person and above tens of thousands. In the Panwu Jin dynasty, he was like a local tyrant. But now, in front of countless people, in front of countless factions, Jun Xiaoyao stepped on his face. He would never forget this humiliation. Young master. In the crowd, Ji Yanran's eyes reddened. She was so emotional that her delicate body trembled. That enemy, whom she hated so much yet felt so powerless against, was being stepped on by Jun Xiaoyao like a dead dog at that very moment. Oh yeah, Big Brother Xiaoyao is the best. Stomp that big beetle to death. Jiang Luoli also clenched her fists and cheered. Jun Xiaoyao had said that he would help her vent her anger. Now it was truly venting. Jun family son of God, it's about time. Finally, on the high platform, God Lord Panwu spoke. No matter what, Yang Pan was still the Marquis champion of the Jin dynasty. Being stepped on like this was truly a loss of face for the Panwu Jin dynasty. To the side, Wu Mingwei had to admit that she was somewhat happy to see Yang Pan suffer. But then, she began to feel apprehensive. Jun Xiaoyao had defeated Yang Pan. Didn't that mean that he had the qualifications to become the Emperor's son-in-law? Heh, since the God Lord has spoken, then this Jun might as well give you some face. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. He lashed out with a kick that was imbued with immense power. A series of cracking sounds rang out. That was Yang Pan's bones shattering. He was sent flying by a kick and crashed heavily into a side hall. This scene caused the corners of God, Lord Panwu's eyes to twitch. Jun Xiaoyao also knew that it was impossible to kill Yang Pan under the watch of God, Lord Panwu. Besides, Yang Pan was also a leak that might be worth harvesting in the future. Pan Wang's sword. Jun Xiaoyao had to admit that he was a little tempted. There was probably no one who wouldn't be tempted by an imperial weapon. Then, today's match. God Lord Panwu was somewhat hesitant, unsure of how to begin. According to the original script, Yang Pan should have swept away all opposition, become the Emperor's son-in-law, and then marry Wu Mingwei. But now, as he looked at the wretched Yang Pan lying in the ruins, covered in blood, God Lord Panwu couldn't bring himself to make him the Emperor's son-in-law. Forget it. I don't have to use this method to appease Yang Pan. God Lord Panwu thought to himself. If he could rope in a monster like Jun Xiaoyao, wouldn't he be more valuable than Tianyang Pans? With this thought, God Lord Panwu said, "The son of God of the Jun family is indeed, as the rumors say. You have the bearing of a dragon and the bearing of a phoenix, and you have an invincible spirit. It seems that there is no doubt that you are the most suitable candidate for the emperor's son-in-law." God Lord Panwu's words caused an uproar. Was he going to make Jun Xiaoyao the emperor's son-in-law? Jun Zhantian didn't say anything. This was Jun Xiaoyao's personal matter. If he was willing, the Jun family wouldn't object. Jiang Luoli's small face immediately paled. She nervously clenched her fists. Although Jiang Luoli sometimes acted simple-minded, she could also be very intelligent. For example, right now, she didn't step forward to ask Jun Xiaoyao what his choice was. Of course, Jiang Luoli herself didn't want Jun Xiaoyao to become the emperor's son-in-law. Although it was normal for an outstanding man like Jun Xiaoyao to have multiple wives and concubines, Jiang Luoli still felt a knot in her heart. To the side, Jiang Xingyi was also a little nervous. She also didn't want Jun Xiaoyao to agree to become the emperor's son-in-law. "I'm doing this for Luo Li," Jiang Xingyi inwardly muttered. However, only Jiang Xingyi herself knew the reason behind it. Apart from them, many other female cultivators who worshipped Jun Xiaoyao and were die-hard fans also didn't want Jun Xiaoyao to become the emperor's son-in-law. They were all female fans who dreamed of becoming Jun Xiaoyao's Dao partner. If Jun Xiaoyao agreed to become the emperor's son-in-law, wouldn't these female fans' dreams be shattered? At this moment, everyone was waiting for Jun Xiaoyao's answer. Xiao Chun was covered in blood, and his eyes were trembling with anger. He couldn't imagine how furious he would be if Jun Xiaoyao became the emperor's son-in-law. Seeing that Jun Xiaoyao didn't immediately agree, God Lord Panwu frowned slightly and threw another bomb. If you can become the emperor's son-in-law of the Panwu Jin dynasty, you can get a chance to enter the Panwu Ling. As soon as this was said, everyone was in an uproar. Recommended reading: Load File 2013. Chapter 115. Panwu Mausoleum was the most ancient and mysterious place in the Jin dynasty. It was rumored that there was an existence related to great Emperor Panwu. Panwu Mausoleum was also the core secret place of the Jin dynasty. Generally speaking, even the nobles, princes, and princesses would find it difficult to enter even once. But now, Divine Lord Panwu actually said that as long as he became the emperor's son-in-law, he would be able to enter Panwu Mausoleum once. This was definitely a huge investment. Even Jun Xiaoyao was flabbergasted by what he saw. This Divine Lord Panwu was really generous. When the time came, Jun Xiaoyao could casually take out something from Panwu Mausoleum, and it would probably be priceless. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao's purpose in coming to the Jin dynasty was to get Panwu Mausoleum. On one hand, it was to sign in, and on the other hand, it was to awaken the next vision of the Saint Physique. So no matter what, Jun Xiaoyao was determined to get Panwu Mausoleum. But Divine Lord Panwu wanted to use this opportunity to tie Jun Xiaoyao and the Jin dynasty together. That was a bit wishful thinking. Jun Xiaoyao didn't say much. He just said, "Then, can you let me enter Panwu Mausoleum?" "Jun Xiaoyao, does that mean you agree?" Divine Lord Panwu smiled faintly. "Let me enter Panwu Mausoleum first," Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. Even when facing the emperor of the Jin dynasty, his expression didn't change. Divine Lord Panwu said with a deep gaze, "There's no time like the present. Why don't we just get married today?" The son of God of the Jun family and the eldest princess of the Jin dynasty can be considered a perfect match. Divine Lord Panwu wanted to directly make Jun Xiaoyao and Wu Mingyue do the deed. That way, it would be settled. Wu Mingyue's face turned pale when she heard this. At this moment, a stern voice shouted, "No, Mingyue, you can't agree." The person who spoke was Xiao Chun. His eyes were bloodshot. If Wu Mingyue really ended up with his mortal enemy, then Xiao Chun would really go berserk. Not only would he be cuckolded, but she would also be with his enemy. It was simply double the joy. No, double the pain. "Xiao Chun, Wu Mingyue bit her lips with a complicated look in her eyes. She knew in her heart that Xiao Chun wanted to be with her, but but it was just a beautiful fantasy. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed, and a playful look appeared on his face as he spoke to Wu Mingyue telepathically. However, Wu Mingyue, who had heard Jun Xiaoyao's rumor, suddenly had a cold and embarrassed look on her face. Because Jun Xiaoyao, Wu Mingyue, Wu Minminjiu, Wu Mingyue. Mingyue was Wu Mingyue, Wu Mingyue Mingyue, 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 to Mingyue Wu Mingyue Wu Minminjiu. Emperor Pan Wu, Minminjiu? Wu Mingyue Wu Mingyue Wu. Oh, I'm doing this for Xiao Chen's own good. After all, it's not good to keep him hanging all day long, right? Why don't we let him give up on her and let her go completely? Jun Xiaoyao transmitted his voice with a hint of a smile on his lips, speaking in a dignified manner. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao's real purpose was just to see what other opportunities Xiao Chen had. Wu Mingyue's beautiful eyes revealed a look of struggle. If she didn't say anything, her identity as a slave would be exposed. 3, 2. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm as he began to count down. Wu Mingyue took a deep breath, her chest heaving up and down. Xiao Chen, I'm sorry. It's impossible between you and me. Let's just end it like this. Forget about me. When Wu Mingyue said this, her jade-like hands trembled slightly. Xiao Chen was completely dumbfounded after hearing that. Mingyue, what? What did you just say? Xiao Chen could not believe his ears. Wu Mingyue was a woman he was in love with. Although there was no intimate contact between them, Xiao Chen had already regarded her as his woman. But now, Wu Mingyue actually said such heartless words. How could she forget about me just like that? Xiao Chen could not believe it. His eyes were bloodshot as he shook his head frantically. He gritted his teeth and said, Is it because of the pressure from the Jin dynasty? Mingyue, this can't be what you mean. Wu Mingyue bit her lip, feeling very uncomfortable. Continue. Jun Xiaoyao transmitted his voice indifferently. Wu Mingyue showed a look of forbearance, but she still spoke. Xiao Chen, you and I are not from the same world. It's over. Xiao Chen froze on the spot like a clay statue. The current Wu Mingyue reminded him of the Baiyuer of the past. They were both so cold, heartless, and turned their backs on each other. Then, he looked at Jun Xiaoyao, and anger suddenly rushed to his head. I get it now. It's because of Jun Xiaoyao. You still think he's better, don't you? Xiao Chen shouted angrily. His temples were about to explode. It must be because Wu Mingyue saw Jun Xiaoyao's excellent performance and was moved by him. That was why she rejected him. That was what Xiao Chen was thinking. It turned out that no matter how hard he tried, he could not compare to Jun Xiaoyao. Wu Mingyue, you bitch. I was sincere to you, but this is how you treat me? What's the difference between you and my unfaithful fiancé Baiyuer? Xiao Chen was completely deranged. Every blood vessel in his body seemed to be twitching. His fiancé was gone. His father was killed. The ancient kingdom of Dragon was destroyed. Now, even his last hope, Wu Mingyue, had abandoned him. His dream of becoming the emperor's son-in-law was also shattered. Revenge was even more out of his reach. The gap between his strength and that of Jun Xiaoyao would only grow bigger and bigger. Madness. Xiao Chen had completely lost his mind. How dare you? On the stage, Lord Pan Wu's face darkened when he saw Xiao Chen call Wu Mingyue bitch. He waved his hand. Puffed. Xiao Chen was directly sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood and crashed heavily on the ground. If Master Blue Dragon had not secretly protected Xiao Chen's internal organs with the power of his spiritual soul, Xiao Chen would have died. However, Xiao Chen did not seem to feel it. He was still laughing maniacally. Aha! Everyone has betrayed me. Everyone has left me. Ha ha! Xiao Chen's clothes were ragged. His face was covered in dust, and his body was covered in blood. He was laughing maniacally. It's not like that. I was forced. Wu Mingyue was crying silently. She was heartbroken. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, looked on coldly at the scene before him. He had never been a saint, and he had never considered himself to be the light of the righteous path. He might be a little kind sometimes, such as helping Ji Yanran and torturing Yang Pan. However, if he became Jun Xiaoyao's enemy, he had to be prepared to be played to death. Xiao Chen, sigh. Master Blue Dragon was completely speechless. Xiao Chun was so pitiful. Even with his help, it was still the same. No, I haven't lost yet. I still have one last hope. Xiao Chun suddenly came back to his senses. There was a hint of madness in his eyes. The ancient freak in the goon nest said that as long as I find the blood of 99 virgin boys and 99 virgin girls and help her break the seal, she will help me fulfill a wish. Xiao Chen's face twisted as he thought of this. He had never been this crazy before. He used to think that this kind of thing was heartless. But now, it did not matter anymore. As long as he could kill Jun Xiaoyao and turn Xiao Chun into a demon, he would even be willing to turn into a ghost. Xiao Chun stumbled out of the Forbidden City. He looked like a demon from hell. Wu Mingwe watched Xiao Chun leave, but she could not stop him. She looked coldly at Jun Xiaoyao and scolded him through telepathy. Jun Xiaoyao, you are a man-eating demon. Oh, is that so? Then how do you know that the Xiao Chun you like is not a demon? Jun Xiaoyao smiled playfully. Impossible. He is so determined. Even if he encounters setbacks, he will cheer up. He will not do anything against the law, Wu Mingwe said confidently. That was why she liked Xiao Chun. She admired Xiao Chen's character. Heh, people change, you know. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. Recommended reading. Load file, 2013. Chapter 116. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes darkened as he watched Xiao Chun stumble away. He knew that Xiao Chun must be hiding some secrets behind his back. Thinking of this, Jun Xiaoyao sent a telepathic message to Jun Zhangjian. Hold your sword and follow Xiao Chun in secret. Remember, don't alert him and don't let him discover you. Just keep track and record. Jun Zhangjian heard the telepathic message and nodded slightly. His figure then disappeared in a flash. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a smile. It wouldn't be long before the secret behind Xiao Chun was revealed. But right now, the most important thing was not Xiao Chun, but the opportunity at Panwu Hill. That old fox. Jun Xiaoyao narrowed his eyes and looked at God Lord Panwu. God Lord Panwu was obviously forcing him to admit his identity as the prince consort of the Panwu Jin dynasty in public. The fastest train of thought /L/Z/without/M after that. If Jun Xiaoyao did anything harmful to the Panwu Jin dynasty, his identity as the prince consort would be shackled. Everyone in the world would curse Jun Xiaoyao for being ungrateful. God Lord Panwu is a cunning old fox. He wants to sacrifice Wu Mingwe to tie me to the Panwu Jin dynasty, but it's not that simple. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a cold smile. He was a free man and did not accept any restrictions. How could he be tied to the Panwu Jin dynasty? Besides, Wu Mingwe's current identity was his slave. There was no way Jun Xiaoyao would marry his slave girl. If he really wanted Wu Mingwe's body, he could have just used the slave seal. Why would he go through so much trouble to compete for the title of prince consort? God Lord Panwu, aren't you being a little too hasty? Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. Haha, there's no time like the present. I also hope that my daughter can find a good home, God Lord Panwu said with a smile. A good home. Jun Xiaoyao tilted his head slightly. Perhaps Wu Mingwe hated him to the core now. Yang Pan, who had walked out of the ruins, had an extremely ugly expression when he heard God Lord Pan Wu's words. He was no fool. He knew that God Lord Pan Wu would no longer allow him to become the emperor's son-in-law. Oomph. In the end, you still need this marquis's help to find the 3 swords of Pan Huang. Yang Pan's face was gloomy as he cursed in his heart. He wasn't agitated either. Compared to before, he was much calmer. There was nothing he could do. He was scared of being beaten up. With the Pan Huang life sword protecting him, although his life wasn't in danger, he had been suppressed by Jun Xiaoyao the entire time. Before obtaining a new fortuitous encounter, Yang Pan did not dare to jump around recklessly again. All right, since that's the case, let the banquet continue. However, it's now a wedding banquet. God Lord Pan, Wu waved his hand. Wu Mingwe's face paled. She was going to marry Jun Xiaoyao. Compared to Yang Pan, Jun Xiaoyao was indeed much better, but it was also a fire pit. Not to mention, her current identity was Jun Xiaoyao's slave. When the time came, they would Zhu Yi in the bridal chamber. If Jun Xiaoyao wanted to play some special master-slave game, Wu Mingwei didn't dare to think about it any further. Hearing God, Lord Pan Wu's words, the entire hall was in an uproar. The proud daughters of the various factions all looked at Wu Mingwei with envy and jealousy. Jiang Luoli was a little absent-minded. Her two ponytails drooped dejectedly. It shouldn't be. Jiang Xingyi clenched her jade-like hands. In her eyes, Jun Xiaoyao wasn't such a casual person. With his status and looks, he couldn't get any proud daughter of the heavens. There was no need for him to fall in love with the eldest princess of the Jin dynasty. The more Jiang Xingyi thought about it, the more upset she felt. Then, she suddenly came to her senses and realized that she seemed to be jealous of Wu Mingwei. Could it be? As someone with a connate Tao embryo, her Tao heart was calm and harmonious. She wasn't pleased by external gains or saddened by personal gain. Since when had she developed such emotional fluctuations? Just as the crowd was in an uproar, a faint sigh suddenly sounded. God Lord Pan Wu, can't you just turn a blind eye? Must I tear down all pretense of cordiality and speak to you? When they heard this voice, the clamor in the crowd quieted down. Incredulous gazes fell on Jun Xiaoyao. Jiang Luoli and the others also regained their spirits as they stared intently at Jun Xiaoyao. God Lord Pan Wu's expression froze. Jun Xiaoyao, what do you mean by that? What do I mean? Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Do you think Wu Mingwei is worthy of me? This one sentence silenced everyone in the Forbidden City. Shock, stupefaction. In the Forbidden City of the Jin dynasty, in front of God Lord Pan Wu, he questioned the first princess Wu Mingwei whether she was worthy or not. This was a blatant slap to the face. Wu Mingwei bit her lip so hard that it was about to bleed. Her face was as pale as paper, devoid of color. Jun Xiaoyao's words were a form of humiliation to her. Jun Xiaoyao, do you know what you're saying? God Lord Pan Wu's aura burst forth, the aura of a quasi-supreme spreading out. God Lord Pan Wu was a quasi-supreme expert. However, he was clearly not the strongest expert of the Jin dynasty. For an imperishable orthodoxy, even supremes weren't the strongest. Unfortunately, this aura had no effect on Jun Xiaoyao. At first, Jun Xiaoyao wanted to fool him. This way, everyone would be happy and there would be no need to tear down all pretense of cordiality. However, God Lord Pan Wu insisted on forcing Jun Xiaoyao to be the son-in-law. This made Jun Xiaoyao a little unhappy. Since God Lord Pan Wu wanted to set him up, then he could only turn the tables on God Lord Pan Wu. It just so happened that Jun Xiaoyao still had a trump card that he hadn't used. Jun Xiaoyao originally thought that he wouldn't use this chess piece today. Now it seemed that he really had to use it. I'm not interested in being the son-in-law, but I want to enter the Panwu Mountain. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was cold and domineering. These words stirred up a huge commotion. Countless people present were so shocked that their scalps went numb. For a prodigy of the consolidation realm, to say such words to a quasi-supreme powerhouse was simply an eye-opener for them. Moreover, this was the son-in-law of the imperishable Jin dynasty, an identity that many prodigies envied. Jun Xiaoyao's face was full of disdain. At this moment, many male prodigies felt indignant for Wu Mingwei. As for those female cultivators, they all let out fanatical and worshipful screams. This was the son of God of the Jun family that they admired and longed for in their hearts. He gave off the vibe of an aloof prince. He was not a promiscuous scumbag who would casually fall in love with anyone. Hee. I knew that Big Brother Xiaoyao isn't such a casual person. Jiang Luoli regained her vitality, and a silly smile appeared on her fair face. / omega mega mega. SA / omega mega mega. C / omega mega mega. C / omega mega mega. SA / omega mega. CA / omega mega tau tau rho S / omega S / omega mega. C / omega mega. S / omega mega. C / Jiang Xingyi also secretly heaved a sigh of relief. However, on second thought, it made sense. Jun Xiaoyao didn't even care about Jiang Luoli, let alone Wu Mingyue. Jun Xiaoyao, are you here to cause trouble today? God Lord Coiling Marshall's eyes flashed with cold fury. If it were any other prodigy, even if they were from an imperishable orthodoxy, God Lord Coiling Marshall would have slapped them to death without hesitation. But if it was Jun Xiaoyao, God Lord Pan, Wu could not bring himself to do it. Fear. Too much fear. Slapping Jun Xiaoyao to death was equivalent to offending the Jun family and the Jiang family, two great clan of the ancients. Even the Panwu Jin dynasty would not be able to bear such consequences. Chapter 117. The Jun family and the Jiang family were two of the three major clans. In terms of strength and resources, they were the leaders of the clan of the ancients. Ordinary, imperishable orthodoxies did not dare to provoke them. Moreover, the Panwu Jin dynasty had been in decline in recent years. Even their strategic weapon, the imperial armament Panhuang sword, had yet to be found. Under these circumstances, if they provoked these two clans, the Panwu Jin dynasty would have to pay an unimaginable price. It might even trigger an imperishable war. For all these reasons, God Lord Panwu forcefully suppressed his anger. However, his eyes were extremely cold. Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands behind his back, a cold smirk on his face. He liked it when God Lord Panwu couldn't stand him, but couldn't kill him. This kid, God Lord Panwu's eyes twitched. Seeing the smirk on Jun Xiaoyao's face, he felt like giving him a slap. However, reason made God Lord Panwu restrain his killing intent. Seeing the indifferent God Lord Panwu, the elders and seniors of the various factions all secretly sucked in a breath of air. It seemed that the Jun family's deterrence was far greater than they had imagined. Jun Xiaoyao had humiliated and provoked him, but God Lord Panwu was still as cowardly as a turtle, not even daring to make a move. Enough, Jun Xiaoyao, since you don't care about the position of the emperor's son-in-law of the Jin dynasty, then leave. My Panwu Jin dynasty doesn't need you. God Lord Panwu waved his sleeve, his tone cold. This was the last shred of face he had left. Jun Xiaoyao remained where he was, tilting his head. God Lord Panwu, don't you understand? This son of God disdains the position of emperor's son-in-law. This son of God also wishes to enter Panwu Mausoleum. Impudence. God Lord Panwu's aura was in chaos. He no longer pursued the matter and allowed Jun Xiaoyao to leave. Jun Xiaoyao was still pushing his luck. At this moment, Jun Zhantian stepped forward and said coldly, Divine Lord Panwu, watch your words. The son of God of the Jun family is not someone that anyone can casually scold. God Lord Coiling Marshall's expression froze. At this moment, Wu Mingyue couldn't help but say, Jun Xiaoyao, that's enough. Mingyue admits that Mingyue isn't good enough for you. But please don't be unreasonable. Making trouble without reason? This Jun has always convinced people with reason. When have I ever been unreasonable? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows and pretended to be surprised. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao like this, Wu Mingyue gritted her teeth angrily. Shameless. Jun Xiaoyao was too shameless. If Jun Xiaoyao were to be reasonable, pigs would be able to fly. Fine. This emperor wants to see what reason you can speak. If you don't have any, then today's matter won't end like this. God Lord Pan, Wu said coldly. He had already taken a step back. If he continued to show weakness, then what prestige would the Panwu Jin dynasty have left? Isn't the reason simple? A light shadow stone appeared in Jun Xiaoyao's hand. He turned his gaze to the third prince, a faint smile on his lips. Seeing this smile, the third prince felt like his heart had been bound by a boulder and fell to the bottom. A thick sense of foreboding welled up in his heart. No, impossible. Absolutely not. He's just scaring me. Cold sweat broke out on the third prince's back, and his legs began to tremble. Jun Xiaoyao poured his magic power into the light shadow stone. The origin spirit of the netherworld heavenly assassin appeared. Along with it were the words he spoke. It was the Panwu Jin dynasty, the third prince who bribed the assassins of our netherworld heavenly to assassinate you. The voice in the light shadow stone spread throughout the forbidden city. For a moment, there was a deathly silence. Countless people widened their eyes as they stared at the scene in the light shadow stone in disbelief. The third prince of the Panwu dynasty actually bribed the assassins of the netherworld heavenly to assassinate the son of God of the June family. An elder of a top orthodoxy took a deep breath, his heart trembling. Does he not want to live anymore? The greatest taboo of an immortal orthodoxy is for their successor to be assassinated by assassins. It's over. The third prince is done for. After a brief moment of silence, an earth-shattering clamor erupted. Everyone felt that it was inconceivable. They never thought that Jun Xiaoyao would produce such evidence. How could this be? Wu Mingyue's jade-like face froze as she felt a chill run down her spine. Assassinate Jun Xiaoyao? Just how much courage did one need to do such a thing? God Lord Panwu's expression was also one of astonishment. He no longer had the confidence he had before. Thump! The third prince's legs gave out as he sat down on the ground. His pants were wet and emitted a strange smell. No, I didn't. I don't know anything. The third prince was drenched in sweat. His face was as pale as a corpse's, and his body trembled like a sieve. Are you afraid to admit it? I have a witness, Jun Xiaoyao said with a chuckle. A beautiful woman walked out from the crowd. It was the heavenly Qin maiden. She coldly glanced at the third prince and said, "The heavenly Qin maiden can testify that the third prince harbored great enmity towards Lord Son of God in the immortal Jade Pavilion." After that, Lord Son of God did indeed come to the heavenly Qin maiden's residence to play the zither and discuss the Tao. He must have been assassinated after the Son of God left. The heavenly Qin maiden's words undoubtedly confirmed the truth of the matter. Heavenly Qin maiden, you? The third prince almost vomited blood when he heard this. He had bitterly pursued the heavenly Qin maiden for a long time and had even given her many treasures. He was even willing to give away his celestial source. Yet now, the heavenly Qin maiden had tricked him without any hesitation. The heavenly Qin maiden's expression was cold, and she said with disgust, "Lord Son of God is a peerless figure. Do you think you can assassinate him just because you want to?" With that, the heavenly Qin maiden turned around and looked at Jun Xiaoyao. She immediately put on an obedient smile. It was as if she hoped to receive Jun Xiaoyao's praise and recognition. Jun Xiaoyao smiled and nodded at the heavenly Qin maiden. The heavenly Qin maiden also smiled, very satisfied. Seeing this, the third prince's face turned purple, and he finally spat out a mouthful of blood. The goddess in his heart had become Jun Xiaoyao's bitch, and now an even greater danger had just arrived. After confirming the evidence, Jun Xiaoyao said coldly, "God Lord Panwu, the Jin dynasty's third prince tried to assassinate this son of God. How should we settle this debt?" Jun Xiaoyao's words made God Lord Pan Wu's expression sink to the extreme. He turned to look at the third prince, wanting nothing more than to slap this unfilial son to death. Today, the entire Pan Wu Jin dynasty had lost all face. Wu Mingyue was also terrified. She did not think that the situation would develop to this point. Jun Zhantian and the other elders stepped forward, their old faces filled with anger and coldness. "God Lord Pan Wu, shouldn't you give my Jun family an explanation?" God Lord Pan Wu was forced into silence for a moment. But at this moment, a zither-killing blade suddenly tore through the air. Its target was the third prince. The fastest train of thought /L/Z/without/M. Who is it? God Lord Pan Wu reacted, but it was already too late. Swoosh! The killing blade swept across, and blood splashed through the air. The third prince was beheaded, his head thrown high into the air. His face was still covered in shock, confusion, fear, and lingering fear. "Damn it! Who dared to kill my son?" God Lord Pan Wu was enraged, his energy erupting. A voice as cold as ice came from the depths of the void. "Anyone who dares to harm the young master will be killed without mercy." Chapter 118. All the cultivators in the Forbidden City were still in a daze. They were still immersed in the shock from earlier. However, at this moment, they saw the third prince's head being separated from his body. // omega omega omega. slash omega omega omega. C slash omega omega omega. C slash omega omega omega. SA slash omega omega. CA slash omega omega tau tau rho S / omega. S slash omega omega. C slash omega omega. S. Everyone was stunned. Their minds went blank, and they didn't come back to their senses for a while. In the forbidden city of the Panwu Jin dynasty, in front of God Lord Panwu, he killed the third prince of the Panwu Jin dynasty. What kind of courage would one need to do such a thing? Even if it was the Jun family, they would still have to first ask for an explanation before making a decision. But in the blink of an eye, the third prince's head had been separated from his body. This was too fast, and it caused people to be unable to come back to their senses for a while. God Lord Coiling Marshall's face turned green, and with a roar, he reached out with a quasi-supreme aura. He was furious and resentful. He didn't expect that someone would dare to kill his son right under his nose. In the distance, the sound of a zither could be heard, colliding with God Lord Coiling Marshall's technique, causing space to shatter. Finally, a peerless figure in gray appeared. It was a gray-clothed woman. She sat cross-legged in the depths of the void with a charred zither placed before her knees. Her gray robe was wide, and her sleeves fluttered in the wind, but it couldn't hide her impressive figure. Her hair was long and messy, covering most of her face. From time to time, a light breeze would blow past, revealing a small portion of her immortal face. It was also sparkling white like snow, beautiful like a dream. Her beauty was not inferior to Jiangxingyi's. There was even a mysterious feeling of vicissitudes that came from the accumulation of time. That is, most of the cultivators in the Forbidden City were stunned. They did not expect that the person who killed the third prince would be a woman. Moreover, she was an extremely powerful woman. Many male cultivators were stunned when they saw the corner of the gray-robed woman's face. They were amazed by her beauty and mystery. Something's not right. Look at that gray-robed woman's eyes. Why does it feel like the heavens and earth are being reopened and the primordial chaos is being developed? One of the elders from a large faction said in shock. At this moment, the crowd discovered that although the gray-clothed woman's eyes were somewhat covered by her hair, her eyes were still glowing. The fastest way forward, even so, one could still vaguely see the terrifying scene of the sun being destroyed and the stars sinking, reenacting the terrifying scene of chaos. Furthermore, his pupils seemed to have overlapped with one another, giving off the appearance of two rings. Could it be the legendary Polychoria? Many people gasped, unable to hide their shock. Polychoria was an extremely rare and powerful type of pupil. Among the 3,000 physiques, it was ranked in the top 30. It was terrifying to the extreme. When they saw the appearance of this mysterious and extraordinary gray-clothed woman with double pupils, the entire crowd went silent. You are? God Lord Coiling Marshall's pupils shrank when he saw the gray-robed woman. Even he, a quasi-supreme, felt a faint pressure. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was rather surprised. He did not expect his protector to be a woman. Moreover, she was an extremely powerful woman. God Lord Pan Wu was the emperor of a country, and his cultivation was top-notch. There were not many people who dared to confront him, let alone a woman. But now, this mysterious and peerlessly beautiful gray-robed woman seated in the depths of the void was no weaker than God Lord Pan Wu's. Anyone who dares to plot against the young master will be killed without mercy, the gray-robed woman said indifferently. A strange look flashed through Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. The gray-robed woman had not addressed him as young master or son of God, but young master. This was thought-provoking. Could you be that? Suddenly, God Lord Pan Wu seemed to think of something. An extreme surprise and fear appeared on his face. Some of the elders of the major factions also seemed to think of something and came back to their senses. This old man remembers now. This gray-robed woman with double pupils is... An elder appeared shocked. He had not expected this woman to reappear and become Jun Xiaoyao's Tao protector. Lady Jiao still intervened in the end. Jun Zhantian muttered, not at all surprised. She's one of the God King's 8 who followed the white-robed God King, Jun Wuhui back then. The dual-pupiled zither woman, Agio, an elder of an eternal orthodoxy, blurted out. As soon as these words were spoken, waves of shock surged in all directions. If the leader of this generation of the Jun family was Jun Xiaoyao, then the leader of the previous generation was Jun Wuhui. There was no need to elaborate on his strength with words. All in all, any one of his 8 followers was an undefeatable existence that could sweep across all 4 directions. And this gray-robed woman with double pupils, Agio, was one of Jun Wuhui's 8 followers. So that's how it is, Jun Xiaoyao said in realization. No wonder Jun Zhantian had said that his Tao protector had an extraordinary background. He had not expected her to be one of his father's former subordinates. At this moment, the heavenly zither woman said in shock, "It's her. She seems to be the person my master once spoke of, an existence that left her in the dust." The heavenly zither woman's master was the master of the immortal dance zither sect, and her zither skills were the best in the entire immortal region. For her to be left in the dust, one could only imagine how transcendent and peerless this person was. With this, the identity of the gray-robed woman with double pupils, Agio, was completely exposed, causing an uproar. God Lord Pan Wu's expression was extremely unsightly. Putting aside how powerful that woman was, her identity was the most frightening thing to them. A follower of the white-robed God King. Although that unforeseen event happened 10 years ago, and no one knew whether the white-robed God King Jun Wuhui was still alive or dead. But no one dared to underestimate her. "Do you have a problem with me killing him?" Agio's voice was cold and indifferent as she sat cross-legged in the sky, like an ancient immortal. God Lord Pan Wu had never felt so sullen before. He wanted to strike, but the consequences were unimaginable. Seeing God Lord Pan Wu's shifting complexion, the surrounding people were flabbergasted. To be able to force the ruler of the Jin dynasty to this extent, the power behind Jun Xiaoyao was far too terrifying. God Lord Pan Wu closed his eyes for a long time, then said, "This matter was truly the fault of this emperor's unfilial son. This can be considered the punishment he deserves." With these words, the crowd fell silent. The mighty ruler of the Jin dynasty had finally admitted defeat. Imperial father, Wu Mingyue's eyes trembled. She had never imagined that their Jin dynasty would also have a day when they would lower their heads like this. Jun Xiaoyao's expression did not change much as he said, "Since that's the case, can this Jun enter Panwu City?" "Jun Xiaoyao, don't go too far." God Lord Pan Wu's complexion had already darkened to the extreme. Jun Xiaoyao had not only publicly humiliated Wu Mingyue, saying that she was not worthy of him. Furthermore, even the 3rd prince had been killed. And now, Jun Xiaoyao actually wanted to enter Panwu City. No one would be able to swallow this insult. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm as he said, "The 3rd prince's death is the punishment he deserves, but this Jun should at least be compensated for his losses." Losses? God Lord Pan Wu wanted to slap Jun Xiaoyao to death. What did Jun Xiaoyao lose? He didn't lose an arm or a leg. He was purely here to extort. But just as the situation was at a stalemate, an ancient and weathered voice slowly rose from the depths of the imperial palace. "Forget it. Give the son of God of the Jun family a chance to enter Panwu City." God Lord Pan Wu's expression changed when he heard this voice. Chapter 119. The person who had spoken was none other than the old overlord of Panwu, Celestial Dynasty, the supreme honorable. Why is this happening? Lord Pan Wu was puzzled. Why did the old emperor say that he would give Jun Xiaoyao a chance? However, Lord Pan Wu did not dare to contradict the old emperor, so he could only accept it. Since the old emperor is willing to give you a chance, then so be it, Lord Pan Wu said indifferently. What? Did the old emperor really say that? Many people in the surroundings were surprised. The old emperor was a supreme powerhouse who had been in seclusion for many years. No one would have thought that the commotion today would alarm him. What was even more surprising was why the old emperor would agree to let Jun Xiaoyao enter Panwu tomb. On the phone, 1 second to remember train of thought Chinese network provides you with wonderful novels to read. Many people in the outside world could not understand. At this moment, in the depths of the palace, in an ancient underground secret chamber, three figures sat facing each other. One of them was an old man wearing a crown and exuding a supreme aura. He was the old emperor of the Jin dynasty. Opposite him were two figures sitting cross-legged. One of them was a skinny old man in a gray robe. He was the 18th ancestor of the Jun family. The other one was also in a gray robe. He looked like a 10-year-old child, but his eyes were full of vicissitudes. I didn't expect that even the 16th ancestor of the Jun family would come out. The old emperor smiled bitterly. Well, I've been buried underground for a long time. It's time to come out and stretch my bones. The 16th ancestor, who looked like a child, cracked his neck and smiled insincerely. The old emperor's eyes twitched slightly. 1 second to remember. The 16th ancestor of the Jun family looked like a child, but his seniority was frighteningly old. It was rumored that the 16th ancestor of the Jun family swallowed a Tao fruit of longevity when he was 10 years old. Since then, he had maintained the appearance of a 10-year-old child. However, it would be foolish to underestimate his strength because of his appearance. The 16th ancestor was stronger than the 18th ancestor. Ha! The arrival of the two of you really brings light to my humble dwelling of the Jin dynasty. The old emperor laughed dryly, but in his heart, he felt rather helpless. Not bad. The old emperor is indeed magnanimous to allow the descendants of the Jun family to enter the Panwu Mountain. Come, let's have a toast. The 18th ancestor forced a smile and raised the wine cup on the table. You're welcome. The old emperor also raised his cup, but his heart was bitter. The two great ancestors of the Jun family were smiling tigers. If he didn't agree to let Jun Xiaoyao enter Panmuling City, he would be able to do so. Then, what he was going to eat next was not a toast, but a forfeit. Although the old emperor was strong, he could not withstand the pressure of the two great ancestors of the Jun family. Therefore, he had no choice but to concede. The outside world had no idea what was happening in the secret chamber. They were still wondering when the old emperor of the Jin dynasty had become so open-minded. Could it be that the ancestor is here? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes narrowed as he guessed. Only the great ancestor of the Jun family could make the old emperor of the Panwu celestial dynasty yield. But was the 18th ancestor alone enough to make the old emperor so wary? Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. He didn't think too much about it. After all, it was enough for him to achieve his goal. After that, the Lord of Panwu reluctantly opened the Panwu Mountain for Jun Xiaoyao with a cold face. The Panwu Mountain was located deep under the Forbidden City. At the entrance, there was an ancient stele. Jun Xiaoyao came here and looked at the ancient monument. He vaguely sensed something. It seems that I have gained a lot in the Panwu Mountain. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Around him, many people from different forces followed. Although they couldn't enter the Panwu Mountain, it was good to just watch from the outside. They also wanted to know why Jun Xiaoyao wanted to enter the Panwu Mountain so badly. Go in. Remember, you only have one chance. If you come out, you can't go in again, the Lord of Panwu said coldly. Oh, will there be any danger inside? Jun Xiaoyao asked. There is naturally no danger for those with the direct bloodline of the Panwu Jin dynasty. But for outsiders, the Lord of Panwu didn't say much. However, there was no lack of threat in his words. I have even fought against the Supreme Demon Corps. Why would I be afraid of a mere Panwu Mountain? Jun Xiaoyao smiled. With a flick of his sleeve, he approached the ancient monument without hesitation. His body was suddenly enveloped by a burst of light and disappeared. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, the Lord of Panwu's face turned even colder. The surrounding onlookers were also speechless. Indeed, all kinds of dangerous secret realms seemed to be able to turn misfortunes into blessings for Jun Xiaoyao, which meant that they were nothing to him. Just as everyone was waiting outside, Jun Xiaoyao had already arrived at the Panwu Mountain. As far as the eye could see, the entire Panwu Mountain looked more like an underground palace. An ancient and weathered aura pervaded the place, as if it were a group of dusty palaces. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was leisurely and calm. However, not long after he stepped out, the ground suddenly lit up with array patterns, and the array patterns spread out. All of a sudden, he felt as if the gravity around him had become much stronger. It was as if an ancient mountain was weighing down on his shoulders. What is this? A test? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. Before he could think any further, a few bronze arrows with sharp auras pierced through the air and flew towards him. Jun Xiaoyao casually reached out and shattered the arrows. Boom, boom, boom. The ground shook rhythmically. Then, row after row of bronze puppets rumbled out from the depths of the Panwu Mountain. Among them, there were puppets wielding bronze spears, as well as puppets wielding bows and arrows. Are these terracotta warriors? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows disapprovingly. However, on second thought, the Panwu Mountain was rumored to be the royal mausoleum, so it was understandable that there would be guards similar to the terracotta warriors. With the array here and the terracotta warriors, ordinary geniuses might really be forced to retreat. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. He finally understood what the Panwu Mountain Divine Lord's threat was. Ordinary geniuses would indeed find it difficult to advance even an inch. They would not be able to go deep into the Panwu Mountain. However, for Jun Xiaoyao, this kind of test was a bit boring. Rumble. Jun Xiaoyao activated the power of the sacred body of the ancients and the divine elephant overpowering force. Golden chi and blood rose and turned into a lifelike golden divine elephant. The divine elephant suddenly rushed out and swept its trunk, sending a group of bronze puppets flying. Each of these puppets was comparable to a consolidation realm genius. Moreover, they were invulnerable and did not feel pain. They were more like killing machines. Unfortunately, they were useless in front of Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao once again used his finger as a sword and slashed out. The immortal Slayer's sword chant was used, and the mighty sword light directly tore through the bronze puppet battle array in front of him. Jun Xiaoyao extended the demon wings behind his back and turned into a stream of light, easily breaking through the line of defense. If the Panwu Mountain Divine Lord saw this scene, he would definitely be shocked. The test for young Supremes in the Panwu Mountain was almost useless to Jun Xiaoyao. After Jun Xiaoyao went deep into the Panwu Mountain Divine Lord, the system's mechanical notification sounded in his mind again. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have arrived at the check-in site, Panwu Mountain Divine Lord. Do you wish to sign in? Sign in, Jun Xiaoyao said. Chapter 120. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 7-star reward, Coiling Emperor Time Sword. As the system's voice fell, the space in front of Jun Xiaoyao was suddenly cut open. Then, an ancient sword with an ancient aura appeared in front of Jun Xiaoyao. This ancient sword was similar to the ancient sword that Jun Xiaoyao had seen on Yang Pan's body. However, the Coiling Emperor Life sword was filled with the aura of the common people, and the body of the sword was engraved with billions of lives. As for this Coiling Emperor Time sword, its entire body flowed with the ancient aura of time. The body of the sword was engraved with the cycle of the sun and moon, the change of the 4 seasons, the rotation of the stars, and the passage of time. Just a glance at it gave off an aura of vicissitudes. Interesting. I didn't expect to obtain one of the 3 swords of Coiling Emperor. Even with Jun Xiaoyao's calm personality, he revealed a rare look of joy at this moment. Although the check-in rewards were random, sometimes it seemed to be related to the check-in location. There was no pattern to it. But no matter what, to be able to obtain the 7-star reward, and the Coiling Emperor Time Sword at that, was definitely a pleasant surprise for Jun Xiaoyao. Could it be that I've evolved from an unlucky person to a lucky person? Jun Xiaoyao muttered. The last time he checked in at the ancient kingdom of Vermilion Bird's Imperial Palace, he only received a 4-star reward. Shaking his head slightly, Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and grasped the Coiling Emperor Time Sword. In an instant, he felt the power of time flowing through him. His entire arm seemed to age in the passage of time. At this moment, the 20-origin immortal bones in his arm glowed, resisting the corrosion of the power of time. Interesting. If someone else obtained this Coiling Emperor Time Sword, they would not be able to use it for a while, Jun Xiaoyao said. The power of time was very mysterious and terrifying. If an ordinary person approached the coiling Emperor Time Sword, they would probably immediately age and age, unless it was a few experts who could withstand it with their own strength. With a thought, Jun Xiaoyao held the coiling Emperor Time Sword and casually slashed at the bronze puppets behind him. In an instant, a semi-illusory sword light swept across, and the bronze puppets began to decay and age. In the end, they directly turned into rust powder on the ground. Very strong indeed. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. With his current level of cultivation, he was unable to unleash much of the coiling Emperor Time Sword's power. However, the power of this casual sword strike was extremely powerful. Suddenly, the Supreme Highness bone in Jun Xiaoyao's chest began to vibrate again, as if it was resonating with something. The Supreme Being bone is acting strangely again. Last time, it was because of the reincarnation Dao Gold. Jun Xiaoyao muttered. Now that he thought about it, the next ability of the Supreme Bone seemed to be related to the power of time and reincarnation. It seems that I have to go to the Holy Spirit College when I'm free in the future and see if the reincarnation Holy Spirit can transform my bones of supremacy, Jun Xiaoyao said to himself. He put the coiling Emperor Time Sword into his spatial artifact. If God Lord Panwu knew that the coiling Emperor Time Sword that he had painstakingly searched for was obtained by me casually signing in, he would probably vomit blood in anger, right? Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but smile. Right now, the coiling Emperor Life Sword was in Yang Pan's hands. The coiling Emperor Time Sword was in Jun Xiaoyao's hands. In the end, only the coiling Emperor Void Sword was left. There's no hurry. The reason why I spared Yang Pan's life is to use him as a laborer to search for the coiling Emperor Void Sword. When the time comes, I just need to snatch it from him. Jun Xiaoyao had taken every conceivable possibility into account, and he had long thought of a backup plan. The only value of Yang Pan's life was to help him search for the final coiling Emperor Void Sword. God Lord Coiling Marshal was clearly thinking the same thing. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't mind. No one could snatch away what he wanted. Just this coiling Emperor Time Sword alone is worth this trip. Jun Xiaoyao continued to move forward. Even if Jun Xiaoyao didn't find the opportunity to transform his sacred body's phenomenon in the end, he had nothing to feel regretful about. One sword was enough to cover his losses. After shaking off the bronze puppets, Jun Xiaoyao continued to go deeper into Panwu City. The ancient halls were covered in a thick layer of dust. Most of the palaces were empty. Obviously, the opportunities inside had long been plundered by the Panwu Jin dynasty. As for the occasional sacred pills, treasure herbs, sacred medicines, noble weapons, and so on, Jun Xiaoyao didn't care at all. At this moment, a special palace suddenly appeared in Jun Xiaoyao's vision. The palace was located in the most remote corner of Panwu City. It was surrounded by piles of weeds. There were even some chains outside that surrounded the area, as if they didn't want anyone to come close. That's... Jun Xiaoyao's eyes dimmed. Traces of exploration could be seen in most places in the Panwu Mausoleum. Only that hall seemed to be uninhabited. Moreover, there seemed to be a blood-colored mist lingering around it. What made Jun Xiaoyao curious was not only the strange state of the hall. It was also because his sacred body of the ancients was faintly reacting. Jun Xiaoyao made up his mind and stepped forward. He pushed open the door of the hall. It was pitch black inside. Gusts of chilly wind blew out. Ordinary people would be scared out of their wits, but Jun Xiaoyao was calm and composed. His sacred body of the ancients was able to restrain all evil and dark forces, so it wasn't weak at all. At this moment, the clanking sound of chains came from the depths of the darkness. It felt as if something that had been imprisoned by chains had begun to move. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was concentrating, a blood-colored fist wind suddenly burst out from the depths of the darkness. At the same time, there was a beast-like roar. What the hell? Jun Xiaoyao pushed out his right arm. The 20 immortal bones of the great, all-embracing heaven glowed. An extremely sacred aura lingered out and collided with the blood-colored fist wind. Boom! There was a tremor, and the entire hall trembled. Under the illumination of the immortal bones of the great, all-embracing heaven, he was able to see the figure in front of him clearly. It was a figure with long hair that reached the ground like a savage. His scarlet eyes were filled with a sense of chaos and mania. But what caught Jun Xiaoyao's attention was not the savage's appearance, but his physique. It was also the sacred body of the ancients. Boom! After the collision, Jun Xiaoyao and the savage figure were both pushed back. Jun Xiaoyao's arm was numb. Fortunately, I have the immortal bones of the great, all-embracing heaven and the divine elephant overpowering force. Otherwise, the outcome would have been unpredictable. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were very serious. Inside the sealed hall in the depths of the Panwu Mausoleum, how could there be a sacred body of the ancients? And it was no ordinary sacred body of the ancients. This sacred body of the ancients seemed to have undergone some kind of transformation. It was the sacred body of the fallen after mutation. Yes, it was the sacred body of the fallen. Because the chi and blood of the sacred body was a brilliant and sacred golden, but the chi and blood of the sacred body of the fallen was an ominous dark red. This sacred body of the fallen is definitely not Great Emperor Panwu. What kind of existence is it? Jun Xiaoyao's heart was full of doubts and puzzlement. Still looking for the sacred body of the ancients, check in for free. Baidu directly searched. Easy, very simple. =. Chapter 121. Who turned the sacred body of the ancients into the sacred body of the fallen? Jun Xiaoyao's intuition told him that it was not the work of Lord Pan Wu and the others. If it was really Lord Pan Wu and the others, there was no need for him to seal it in the Panwu tomb. This sacred body of the fallen seemed to have been sealed here for a long time. Lord Pan Wu and the others did not care. They probably could not do anything about it. This was because the sacred body of the fallen in front of him had almost lost all rationality and consciousness. It was like a crazy beast. Roar! Just as the holy physique of the fallen wanted to attack again, its body was restrained. There were chains wrapped around his neck, wrists, and ankles. There were also dense suppression runes on them. Jun Xiaoyao moved back a little so that he would not be attacked by the sacred body of the fallen. No wonder I felt that the power of this sacred body was not very strong. It was sealed, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. He also had the sacred body of the ancients, so he could vaguely sense it. The sacred body of the fallen in front of him had almost broken through 4 shackles. This was already extremely difficult in the modern era. After all, not everyone was like Jun Xiaoyao, who was born with 10 shackles broken. Jun Xiaoyao could also roughly sense the cultivation of this sacred body of the fallen. It was around the Saint Realm. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered. With the sealing chains, this sacred body of the fallen was not a threat to him. However, Jun Xiaoyao was not willing to leave just like that. He believed that there must be some secret about the sacred body of the ancients in the depths of this palace. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the sacred body of the fallen. Suddenly, an idea flashed through his mind. If I can temporarily suppress this sacred body of the fallen and take it away, Jun Xiaoyao thought. It was not easy to enter the Panwu tomb. Jun Xiaoyao had to take whatever he could take away. There was no need to be polite with the Panwu Jin dynasty. Thinking of this, Jun Xiaoyao also thought of a way to temporarily suppress the chaotic demonic nature of the sacred body of the fallen with his own sacred body of the ancients. This method might not succeed 100%, but it was worth a try. Jun Xiaoyao first activated the 10,000 saints worshipping phenomenon, and the illusions of 10,000 saints appeared in the void around him, bowing to Jun Xiaoyao in unison. A vast and mighty force spread out in all directions. Even the fallen sacred body was greatly suppressed. Jun Xiaoyao then began to activate the chi and blood of his sacred body of the ancients. Dazzling golden blood energy rose up, bringing with it a holy and auspicious aura that could purify all evil. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and reached out. Endless golden blood aura transformed into a shining blood aura brand in his palm. Jun Xiaoyao struck out with his palm and blasted the qi and blood imprint on the head of the holy being of the fallen. The fallen holy physique let out a roar as white smoke gushed out from the top of his head. Jun Xiaoyao continued to channel his golden qi and blood, finally temporarily sealing his chaotic divine sense. If it were anyone else, it would be almost impossible to subdue the fallen holy physique. However, Jun Xiaoyao, who also had the sacred body of the ancients, had the ability to do so. He could even take the fallen holy physique away. Jun Xiaoyao wasted no time and went straight into the depths of the ancient books to investigate. Soon, he found some old scrolls that were about to decay and were filled with the aura of time. Jun Xiaoyao glanced through them and was a little surprised. So that's how it is. Jun Xiaoyao took a deep breath. This fallen holy physique was created by some powerful cultivators from the previous generations of the Jin dynasty. They wanted to recreate the glory of great Emperor Panwu. They wanted to create another great monarch Panwu by force. Therefore, they spent a lot of time to find such a rare sacred body of the ancients. They wanted to cultivate this sacred body of the ancients into a sacred body that could break the 10 shackles. They wanted to let it grow and become the new great Emperor Panwu, protecting the Jin dynasty. However, it was extremely difficult to break the 10 shackles. It was no different from defying nature. After breaking 2 shackles, the sacred body of the ancients found it difficult to make any progress. Then, the powerful cultivators of the Jin dynasty began to try some crooked methods to break the shackles of the sacred body. The result of the experiment was that the sacred body of the ancients went crazy. In the end, it seemed to have attracted some kind of strange, ominous feeling. This ominous feeling caused the experiment to stop and many people to lose their lives. The sacred body of the ancients became a fallen holy physique and was sealed there. The reason why it was not destroyed was probably because the Panwu Jin dynasty was still unwilling to give up. They wanted to keep it and maybe find a way in the future. However, the Panwu Jin dynasty began to decline with each generation. They did not even find the 3 swords of Pan Huang, so they were not in the mood to deal with the fallen holy physique. That was why it had been sealed until now. I can't believe there is such a thing. They want to cultivate a sacred body and create a new great Emperor Panwu. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. He felt that the powerful cultivators of the Jin dynasty must be out of their minds. However, the scroll did not record what the ominous feeling attracted by the fallen holy physique was. Moreover, the ominous feeling seemed to be targeted specifically at the sacred body of the ancients. We will talk about this later. Some of the information is very important to me. Jun Xiaoyao began to collect all kinds of information. Among them, there was not only information about the fallen holy physique, but also some remaining insights about the sacred body left behind by great Emperor Panwu. These insights were the most important to Jun Xiaoyao. It was very likely that they would inspire him to awaken the next sacred body vision. With Jun Xiaoyao's talent, it would not take too long for him to awaken the next vision. However, with the insights of great Emperor Panwu, his progress would be much faster and would not take too long. After collecting the information, Jun Xiaoyao turned around and went to the fallen holy physique. This sacred body of the ancients was quite pitiful. It was turned into a fallen holy physique by the people of the Jin dynasty. Jun Xiaoyao took out the coiling Emperor Time sword and slashed at the sealing chains. These sealing chains were extremely sturdy and contained the power of sealing. However, under the power of the coiling Emperor Time sword, they were still cut in half. Jun Xiaoyao put the holy physique of the fallen into his spatial power item right away. Originally, living things could not be put into the ritual implement. However, the fallen holy physique was already a puppet that was similar to a walking corpse, so it could be put in. The reason why Jun Xiaoyao took the fallen holy physique was that an idea suddenly came to his mind. Since they were both sacred bodies of the ancients, Jun Xiaoyao could divide a part of his true spirit and put it into the fallen holy physique. Then, would he be able to control the fallen holy physique? When he thought of this possibility, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes lit up. After all, this was a sacred body of the ancients at the level of a saint. If it could be revived and controlled by him, how terrifying would its power be? Recommended reading. Load file 2013. Chapter 122. When he thought of this possibility, Jun Xiaoyao was slightly excited. After putting away the remains of the sacred body of the ancients, everything was complete. Jun Xiaoyao entered the Panwu tomb this time and signed in to obtain the Panwu Sword of Time, the fallen sacred body of the Saint Realm, and the enlightenment of the sacred body of great Emperor Panwu. All in all, this trip was worth it. Then, Jun Xiaoyao left the ancient palace and rushed out of the Panwu tomb. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care about the other opportunities in the Panwu tomb at all. There were no resources like the immortal source here. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao left without any reluctance. In the outside world, many people were still discussing what had happened. In particular, Jun Xiaoyao's performance was amazing to the extreme. As for God Lord Pan Wu and the others, their faces were dark. This time, the Jin dynasty of Panwu had lost a lot of face. They would probably be laughed at by the various forces of the immortal realm for a long time. At this moment, at the ancient tablet that entered the Panwu tomb, a ray of light fell, and a peerless figure in white walked out. It was Jun Xiaoyao. It's the son of God of the Jun family. Why did he come out so quickly? Many people were stunned when they saw Jun Xiaoyao appear. They thought that Jun Xiaoyao would stay in there for at least a few days and nights. Could it be that the son of God of the Jun family didn't pass the test and was forced out? Some people thought. Divine Lord Panwu sneered and said, Jun Xiaoyao, why did you come out so quickly? There are quite a lot of opportunities in the Panwu tomb. His words were a blatant mockery. The harvest is not bad. It's enough. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care. He was in a good mood now. After all, he had gained a lot. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao smile, Divine Lord Panwu's heart skipped a beat. He felt that something was wrong. Then, under everyone's strange gazes, he entered the Panwu tomb in a flash. Then, everyone heard a furious roar from God Lord Panwu. My goodness, what did the son of God of the Jun family take away from Panwu tomb? That's right. Listening to God Lord Panwu's roar, I feel like his heart is bleeding. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. The value of the sacred body of the ancients went without saying. Even a fallen holy body was priceless, not to mention that there might be a chance to recover it in the future. Now that Jun Xiaoyao had taken away the fallen saint physique, God Lord Pan Wu would definitely vomit blood from anger. God Lord Pan Wu appeared at the entrance of the stele, his expression extremely grave. Jun Zhantian took a step forward. Divine Lord Pan Wu, this opportunity belongs to whoever obtains it. You can't go back on your word. God Lord Pan Wu panted like an ox. In the end, he took a deep breath and turned around. Leave. Don't let this emperor see you again. God Lord Pan Wu was truly afraid of Jun Xiaoyao. I still want to stay in the Jin dynasty for a few more days to enjoy the scenery. God Lord Pan Wu, you don't have to be in a hurry to chase me out. Jun Xiaoyao smiled calmly. God Lord Pan Wu's back trembled slightly. Then, he waved his hand coldly and said, The banquet is over. You can all leave. After saying that, his figure blurred and disappeared from the spot. Out of sight, out of mind. Why couldn't God Lord Pan Wu hide? Seeing God Lord Pan Wu leave, many cultivators from the surrounding factions clicked their tongues and sighed. The fact that Jun Xiaoyao was able to infuriate the ruler of the undying celestial dynasty to such an extent was a testament to his capabilities. Thus, the banquet of God Lord Pan Wu and the Jin dynasty ended with such an unexpected ending. No one would have thought that the banquet of the Jin dynasty's princess royal, choosing her husband, would become Jun Xiaoyao's stage in the end. In the beginning, everyone thought that this would be the champion marquis's chance to show off. Previously, when Jun Xiaoyao did not accept the challenge, many people used this opportunity to smear Jun Xiaoyao's reputation. But now, Jun Xiaoyao suppressed Yang Pan and the other three geniuses with a raise of his hand. It was simply too easy. All kinds of rumors were dispelled. After the banquet ended, the major forces also began to return. One could imagine that the news would spread throughout the Huangtian mystic realm in a few days. Xuani, are we just going to leave like this? Feng Qingling's expression was very unpleasant. When they were born, they were full of ambition. They wanted to defeat Jun Xiaoyao and make a name for themselves. The grand ancestor of the Wanwang Spirit Mountain was also looking forward to their performance. He wanted them to not tarnish the reputation of the Wanwang Spirit Mountain. But now, Feng Qingling was brutally beaten by Jun Xiaoyao. Huang Xuani and the other three joined forces, but they were still no match for Jun Xiaoyao. The two of them were utterly humiliated. Many people looked at them with a hint of mockery. Now, those people are saying that the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain is not much better than the Zulong, Feng Qingling said angrily. What can we do? The son of God of the Jun family is indeed frighteningly powerful. It seems that only Huang Zi and the Phoenix Girl can deal with Jun Xiaoyao. Huang Xuani was also helpless. Huang Zi and the Phoenix Girl need the two of them to come out. Feng Qingling gasped, and her beautiful eyes were full of surprise. Huang Zi and the Phoenix Girl were the two most talented geniuses of the current generation of the Wanwang Spirit Mountain. One of them had the bloodline of the true Phoenix, while the other had the bloodline of the ancestral Phoenix. The power of their bloodline was extremely powerful, and their cultivation was also terrifying. Some people even compared Huang Zi and the Phoenix Girl of the Wanwang Spirit Mountain to Long Outyin of the Zulong. Of course, even if the two of them were to come out and fight Jun Xiaoyao, their chances of winning would be 50-50, Huang Xuani estimated. Feng Qingling shook her head dejectedly. She had suffered a great blow this time. On the other hand, Yi Xingyun's eyes were also very cold. He did not expect that the four of them together would still be no match for Jun Xiaoyao. It seems that I have to find the treasure of the Constellation Palace left behind. It is a treasure trove that belongs to me. As long as I can get it, my strength will skyrocket. By then, Jun Xiaoyao will be left behind by me. Yi Xingyun thought to himself. Wang Gang of the Wang family in the northern region did not look too good either. Other than his brother Wang Tong, Wang Gang was confident that he would not lose to anyone, but now he was beaten so miserably. So what if he is the son of God of the Jun family? He is still no match for my brother, the young emperor of the Wang family, Wang Gang snorted. He was no match for Jun Xiaoyao, so he could only compare himself with his brother. Finally, there was the most humiliating person, Yang Pan. After all, he was the one who challenged Jun Xiaoyao to a fight. He even boasted shamelessly that Jun Xiaoyao would not dare to accept his challenge. But now, reality was like a slap to his face. Yang Pan could even feel countless gazes of mockery and ridicule landing on him. Damn it. Yang Pan clenched his fist so tightly that his knuckles turned blue. I have to find other opportunities to improve myself. Most importantly, I have to find the other two swords as soon as possible. I can only kill Jun Xiaoyao if I combine the three swords of Pan Huang into one. Yang Pan's eyes were bloodshot, like a snake that was about to devour its prey. Jealousy, anger, resentment, and all kinds of negative emotions surged in his heart. If Jun Xiaoyao did not die, he would never be able to appease the anger in his chest. Recommended reading. Load file 2013.